Here, a killer buried, but not dead. A curse on Crystal Lake. A death curse. Jason Voorhees' curse. They say he died as a boy, but he keeps coming back. Few have seen him and lived. Some have even tried to stop him. No one can.
Jason's alive. He's even more powerful now. Jason belongs in hell. I'm gonna see he gets there. Jason, come on! Come and get me! It's me you won't remember!
People forget. He's down there, waiting.
He lives, Jason Voorhees lives, the curse remains. DeadPit radio's warning of Jason's bloody reign. Rambo's on the run, but can't escape his fate. Stuntman Mark's got the money, but Jason can't be paid.
Well, holy shit. What did y'all think about that?
I thought, man, we're watching the whole movie of Part 7.
It's killer. So welcome to Friday Night Lives once again, and welcome to Friday the 13th, man. This is awesome. Like, we've had 2 Friday the 13th this year, which has been pretty cool. And one in December is like a really unusual thing. So tonight, to celebrate that event, we're going to have Mark and Rambo both rank. That's right, Mark. You rank the fucking movies. You don't talk about them, you rank them.
Yeah,
movies.
Yeah, I didn't really want to rank them, but my hand was forced. I had no choice. So
we made you rank them because, like, that's just what we do.
That's right.
We always like to make you uncomfortable and do things that you don't necessarily want to do. So, also before we start this though, if anybody is curious after this video is over with, like, there are rankings for like mine and CK's and Garrett's all on the DeadPit channel. So if you want to see like how those go down, you can go back through the older videos and look those up too. But this is going to be a long show no matter what we do or how we do this. So I think we all decided pretty much to just start off, and also to start off with Mark, because Rambo, his picks just scare everybody and they make people uncomfortable too. So
Probably.
they're too fucking much. Although, I mean, mine wasn't necessarily like, I mean, I don't think mine was like in line with what a lot of people think either. So
Really?
yeah, mine was like I put 6 really far down on the list, and I think
Mhm.
like I'm pretty sure I had Jason Goes to Hell higher than people thought, and also my top one was part 5, I believe, or part 2 or 5. I can't remember. Anyway, it was like I think it was 5, and then maybe followed by 2, but it was one of those
Right.
combinations. So yeah, let's let the madness begin, bulls. Mark, what you got?
And keep in mind for everybody in the chat, I have no idea what's on Matt's list. He doesn't know
No.
mine, so element of surprise all around for everybody. But I mean, this one is probably no surprise. I just I had to put it at the worst. So by the way, we're going worst to best.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it any
Thank God.
surprise that I put Jason X as the worst?
It is to Rambo. Like I bet.
Yeah, I mean, this one, it doesn't look like a film like everybody said over the years. It looks like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. And, you know, if it didn't have that made for TV look, a few other things were changed, I might actually be able to get through it. But there's a lack of really cool characters, except for like one or two. It's not really that gory, although that doesn't necessarily make a Friday the 13th film great, which is arguable. But I never watch it. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, how do you guys feel about Jason X?
You'll hear mine later.
I mean, I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that was my least favorite too on my list, because like you said, I never go back and want to watch that one. I never like think about any of the characters in that movie. Like I never really even think about any of the kills in that movie, except one that like really stands out. And
The one
it's
everybody
just,
talks about, yeah.
yeah, and it's just not. It looks like a Canadian film. It really has that generic, just
Bunch of haters.
fucking just that
Bunch
look
of
of whatever that they just wash everything out, and it just looks very like generic, especially for a space movie too. Like,
See, that was the alarm. That was the bullshit alarm. The bullshit alarm, the shenanigans.
shenanigan alarm fucking went off.
I mean, that being said, like out of all the movies, I don't hate any of them. Like it would take a lot for me to hate any of these movies. There's problems for certain sequels or whatever, but like I just don't go back and watch this one very often. Yeah, it's at the bottom.
It looks like that's what it looks like, a sci-fi original movie. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think maybe a cheap look or whatever would lend itself. Maybe it would feel a bit more like an exploitation film or something, but it doesn't. It just looks like a TV movie. There's just not enough here for me to go back. That's my take, though.
Yeah. So like you said, I like pretty much all these movies to some extent.
Yeah.
Except this one.
I know which one it is.
Fuck Jason Takes Manhattan.
I knew it.
I knew that was going to be it. That's such a take.
It's to be a good take. I like Darkest Side of the Night. I like the guy getting his head punched off.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's such. Back in the day, I could watch it as like a time waster, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, this is a bunch of horse shit. It's false advertising. He took a dump on a boat. He didn't take a fucking Manhattan. Okay, maybe he drank some Manhattans. That's about as far as he took a Manhattan, because he looked drunk as fuck. He was slimy as fuck. He was slimier than the Touch of the Avenger. For some reason, a big wad of goober followed him everywhere he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Someone pissed on his mask. It's piss yellow. And it's funny how that he finds a mask, but has the same axe mark that his old mask had. He takes a boat ride, which is, I don't care for most. It has perhaps the worst or one of the worst leads. I didn't give a rat's ass about her.
Jensen
You ain't gonna sit here and talk shit about Jensen Daggett.
I will. She deserves it. With her stupid wannabe Nightmare on Elm Street dreams. that the only reason is because the fourth Elm Street film made like 50 million. So like we gotta rip this shit off. And the ending where Toxic Waste goes every night at midnight in New York and it turns into a regular boy and gave him a full head of hair.
You
They
know
didn't even
that?
have before. I
That's
did
what
not know
happens.
that.
In New York, toxic waste is just constantly running into the sewage.
And it
Yeah.
makes your head a chia
That's actually
pet.
believable.
That is it's the most believable thing about the movie.
And like, why does he turn to not just a boy, but a regular looking boy? Like it fixed his mongoloidness too.
That's
He
what
was no-
toxic waste does. You didn't know that?
Yeah. It turned him back into like a regular kid.
It's
It
a
has a
cure for
reverse
everything.
Toxic Avenger effect.
And then the fact that the MPA took a lot of the gore out,
Mhm.
and I wanted what the title promised, and it didn't, and that pisses me off because the next year, Maniac Cop 2 did it, and that had a lower budget, and that had like a great scene where he's Terminator like dealing with the cops at a police station. I wanted that for Jason. I wanted him to go into a police station and kill every cop in it. I wanted the Terminator version of Jason in Manhattan. I'm not saying it's got to be the Statue of Liberty. I'm not saying it's got to be on Times Square, which they had one scene in. But there's so much stuff you could have done with that, and they did jack all with it, and that's just pissed me off. And I think the ending sucks. He turns to a silly putty. Why is he turned to silly putty?
I can't really argue with the
You
ending
know?
of that movie. I've never really understood the ending or why he turns into a kid or what any of that sewage toxic waste shit was about. I can't like defend any of that, but I do agree with CK when he says that is the last one, the last one that looks like a
Mhm.
Friday the 13th movie, like a Paramount. That's the last Paramount one, so it's the last one that really looks like that.
Yeah, that's my problem with Jason X is that like it doesn't even there's nothing about it other than like I think there's like a flashback scene or something. It's like a fake Camp Crystal Lake type scene.
Yeah,
I do like the look of Uber Jason, but
yeah, Uber Jason's good.
you know.
Yeah, that's what I do. I like Darker Side of the Night.
Do you like it when he kicks the ghetto blaster? Because I like that part.
That's a fun bit, I'll admit.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's like 30 seconds. So
Gotta take
I
those
just-
small victories, Rambo.
yeah.
What about when he
Well-
throws Ken Kersinger like through a window or whatever?
That's
Against the
best
mirror.
thing.
Yeah, against the mirror. I don't know.
I mean,
Five.
well, speaking of Ken Kersinger, my next one is obviously got to be Freddy versus Jason. Now, I mean, I saw this in the theater like everybody else. I was super excited. It plays well with an audience, I will say.
Yep.
But that's never like the determining factor of how much you can like a Friday the 13th movie, because I would argue that the remake and a few of the other ones that I did see in the theater, they play well, but when you get back home, that's the real test. When you rewatch, how good is it? I'd argue also that those probably aren't the majority of horror fans. It's probably a few in there, but it's probably just casuals. So to them, every kill is like this big deal. And I like the environment, like seeing it, everybody's throwing popcorn. It's like people are standing up cheering and stuff. That's cool, but I don't get that when I watch it at home. And this plays more of like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's not really Friday the 13th movie. It was almost dead last for me just because of that. It's like if Freddy was like a rock band, let's just say. And you know how you have rock bands that like feature like a person that comes in and they'll like do background vocals or something. That's how I feel about Jason in this. Like, he's like the back singer, or he's just there.
He's really just like, they really do a lot of disrespect to Jason in this movie. He's like a big dumbass, like
a kid in this movie. Rambo,
yeah, he does,
be at the
and he can fucking drown too, which is the dumbest thing ever.
Exactly.
Like, his fear is water, even though he's like in every movie just wading through water, like and dragging people underwater and shit. But this is one of those films where it's like you said, like if you saw it in the theater, you were like, this is killer. And then you go back and you think about the plot and everything that happens in it,
Mhm.
and after you rewatch it, you're kind of just like, no, this is just a bunch of shit like cobbled together. It's like a Play-Doh house of shit. They just
Yeah.
mashed it all these ideas together to try to form something that's just not there.
Yeah, I mean, they just did so much wrong with this. It's crazy to think that like this is what we were waiting on after all those years. You see that final scene and Jason goes to hell, and this is what we ended up getting. Any good merits to it, it would have to be Robert Englund's performance.
True.
I'll give it that. And to me, honestly, if this was like a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, this might be a little higher up because, like I said, I think it's more of a Nightmare on Elm Street film than it is a Friday the 13th movie. So I like the balance of humor with Freddy in it. That's my Freddy type of humor that I like, where he's fucking that chick that's dead, but she's like a camp counselor. He's like, it's not my fault. This bitch is dead on her feet. Like, that's what I'd like to see Freddy do. Not like, dress up and fly on a broomstick or whatever the fuck he does in the sequels. That's the kind of dark humor I like from Freddy. So I will say also the look in the dream sequence is great with the one at the very end where he's all red. Yeah. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. It's like Demon Freddy. I wish they had went with that design the whole movie. Man, I love that. But, yeah. So that's my number 11.
So interestingly enough about that too, though, like one of my least favorite parts of that movie, and I don't know why they thought this was good. I guess this was around that time and that era where they were just throwing random pop stars into movies all the time and seeing like if that worked. But Kelly Rowland is one of the worst fucking actresses I have ever seen in one of these types of movies, man.
Yeah, I agree.
And oh my God, that scene with her, if you go back and watch it now, like how cringy that is, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They could have chose anybody else but her. I mean, she was not very good. Not too easy on the eyes either, but that's a whole different topic. So you go ahead, Rambo.
Before I do, I think Bobby sends some super chat.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me get to Bobby.
I will try to decipher this. I apologize, Bobby. I know you have a certain speech, so I'll try to decipher this.
Yeah, real quick though, before you get to that, I just want to just address Ragnar real quick. I'm going to quote Kurt Cobain from back in the day when I say just this to you, sir. Then why are you here? And you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Okay, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But thank you, Bobby. He said, I'll try to decipher this. So I'll do my best, Bobby. He's probably talking about what people are going to say about me after this list comes out. Matt said, so Bobby, where did you hear from? Well, he heard from me. Bobby said, Uncle Bill, grab his phone. CT said, they're probably saying, like, what did he say? Probably the next one I'm going to talk about. You probably saw my list. It's like, what did you fucking say? Nah, Fabio didn't say. Matt said he heard from Uncle Bill. I did. I appreciate Bobby. I don't really know what you're saying, but everybody's pretty much he's saying everybody's. I'm going to decipher it in my own mind. Everybody don't be pissed by this next one. So thank you, Bobby.
I agree with that. What you're saying here, yeah.
Number 11.
I'd love to see CK and a Moo, by the way. That would be
Halloween. Next Halloween.
Something else. Yeah.
That's Halloween. Number 11. I like this movie. I do. Oh, and real quick, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. I know you hate Sasha Sunset, but there should be a sequel that picks up where the last amended just to fix up. The entire movie is a blue ball movie. It's Sasquatches on a row, pissing and shitting and titty milk flying. The ending, you think the ending was the problem with that movie? The beginning, the middle, it breathing, it existing, it everything is the problem with it. Just watch the movie. Like, you think the ending it's the problem?
I want to see this movie just because you hate it so much. I don't know why.
I can't wait for it.
So number
I like it. Part 5, A New Beginning.
What the fuck? Hold on, 1 second. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue this.
He's trolling. There's no way he put part 5 right there.
There ain't no way you actually put part 5 there.
Yes, I
All
like
right,
them.
I'll see you later. So anyway, Mark, like it's going to be a 2-man show now, and I want you to go ahead and feel free to go through yours.
Oh my god.
I
of
like
a
the
bitch.
movie, but the others I do like more. Fuck Roy. I always said fuck. I said it on the tier list. Fuck Roy. I hate that shit. It's a bloodless movie. The kills you don't really get to see much of because nowadays that's the one the MPA ripped apart the most. At least with part 7, I have an uncut version. You can see it. The other, like for a franchise about gore and kills, that suffers a lot because you don't get to see a lot of it. If we got to see an uncut version, that could change. The guy who plays Tommy's okay, but I like the Tommy in part 6 and part 4 more. Although I don't mind his kung fu.
Yeah, I mean, the Tommy in part 5 is probably the weakest part of that whole movie to me.
There's a couple fun characters, but like there's with these other films, I like the lead in them more. The mystery fucking sucked. Like from 5 minutes in, you know who the killer is. Because they clearly put a neon sign on his face going, hey, this guy who's ready to murder you. Gee, I wonder if this guy ready to kill you with his eyes is the killer. So I think as a story, the mystery sucks.
Hey, it could have been Vic. You never know.
Yeah, I wish it was. If that was the case, it would have moved up.
Yeah.
And nothing about the movie made sense. The ending doesn't make sense. Like, he wakes up and there's a fucking mask and a knife right next to his hospital bed. They just, the evidence. Like, when they show the girl the picture and there's a picture of Jason Voorhees like this, like, who took that fucking picture? Some of the characters are fun, but that's pretty much it. I don't like what they did with it. I appreciate doing something different. There's films I like in this list that did stuff different, but
Now, Rambo,
a Fate Jason I thought was lame as fuck.
you better hear me and you hear me good. I want this loony bin closed down.
I understand the hype. I understand the hate back in the. I said I don't hate the film. I can watch and have fun. Miguel Nunez is fun. The guy that's like, "Go kick your ass," you know. But he's there for like 30 seconds.
Miguel Nunez. He's another part of the film. I can't ever watch that without thinking about how much of a dickhole that guy is too in real life.
But like, I don't mind. Was it Melanie Kinnaman?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind her, but she's not a favorite of mine. I don't think she was bad, but I wouldn't put her in my like top 5 actresses. I would put like Amy Steele, Adrienne T, and other people above it. So the leads I wasn't in love with. Again, the kills being bloodless, the mystery sucking, like these random people I didn't give a fuck about, just coming in getting killed. And I don't like the fake Jason stuff. I think that to me, Jason is the franchise. I guess it got hockey mask, but then it's like how goofy he looked and the goofy mask with the blue streaks on. Reggie the Reckless, fuck him too, and fuck Roy.
What the fuck?
Fuck Reggie and his onesie. I wish he took him and pile drived him right through the fucking floor.
You talking to me, Sheriff? I thought you were talking to me.
Fuck the kid. Fuck Roy. Fuck the fat guy who he deserved. I'm glad he got killed. His fat ass in the beginning with an axe. So
yeah, I mean, the actor himself. It's a shame that he can fucking take that guy out for real.
Yeah,
and the character too. I mean, and Violet has a cool dance, but that's all you remember is the dance. There's really nothing to her as a character.
I wish they had kept her original death scene in. That would have been killer.
Dude, she's a solid character though, just for that dance. I just, when it comes to throwaway characters, like alternative goth chick in the mid '80s is that's kind of wild.
You know what? If they made her like with more, give more to do and make her the lead, that would be interesting. A punk lead, she could keep the dance, but make her the lead and fight Jason. You know, then maybe it could go up a few notches. But again,
Look, Rambo,
the
I'm
lead
warning
characters are not that great. It's the
I'm
support,
warning you.
So wait, you're saying like,
or
and
the, which is better, the supporting characters or the leads in Friday 5?
The best characters in the whole movie are like Ethel and Junior by far. So I give me the supporting characters.
And again,
And
they're
then
not in
Demon,
it a whole lot.
yeah, but I mean,
They're not in it a whole lot. So you have the rest of the movie with these not the best, strongest characters.
But like
and then the
every
gore
other
is cut out.
every other character you come in contact with, like on this journey through this movie, is fucking killer. Every single one. You've got like
even the other guy that gets a flare in his mouth.
Benny and the greasers out of nowhere. Yeah. Then you got like the dude at the diner that's trying to bang the chick that gets the axe man. Then you got it's like all of these people that you run into.
The guy with the dirty t-shirt is just there to have a thumb up his ass and walk away.
Yeah. Who the fuck are you? What the fuck do you want? I
but that's Ethel. That's Ethel, not the other guy.
Yeah, but without him, that whole scene doesn't work because he's just like some weirdo that strolls. He's also just a red herring. He's just some weird guy. Kind of
a shitty red herring because you know who the killer is 5 minutes in. So
but I'm warning you, Rambo. I'm warning you. I got a bomb on me. I swear to God, I'll blow us all up.
But can you say it's a good mystery? That's what they were trying for?
I don't think it's a good mystery, but I also don't think it matters that it's not Jason. I just think that it's still a dude that looks like Jason running around, killing people like Jason. It don't fucking matter to me.
It makes no sense with how he can like survive all this shit when he's just a regular guy.
He's not though. He's all pumped up with like kid death rage. So it's like he's fucking got super. Don't you know that's how it works? If a kid dies, you get like Hulk-like abilities.
Kid death rage.
Yeah,
I remember that. Okay, I gotta think about it. But I liked the film, folks. I like it. It's just even back in the day, I was like, Again, I think if you had the full uncut version, you get to see all the kills and if maybe it's like the actors lead Tommy's okay, but if it was maybe someone a bit more writing to his character because he's silent for most of it, so he's not really the strongest guy to follow. Maybe a few of these tweets here and there I could have dealt with it, but I mean it's nowadays I would say the most bloodless of the Fridays, really. I mean, if you like,
would that have that much of an impact? Like, let's say, because
at least they have some visceral. Because you see a bunch of kills, and then there's, it's like the meal without the meat.
They're over as quick as they start. I know what you mean. I was just wondering if it would, because you're talking about characters and the mystery aspect. I was just wondering, like, would it really change that much for you? Like, would that movie move up in
at least as a B movie? Like, I really like My Bloody Valentine. I like some of the characters, but there's some characters that are not that great. But when I saw the uncut version, it definitely went up a few. Well, I like My Bloody Valentine. When I saw the full uncut version, it went up even more so because at least I had that visceral, intense, brutal, oh shit type of thing. That could help in a B movie entertainment level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you. Before I go, you want to read that super chat?
Yeah, there's two of them. Another from Matthew. Oh, before that,
two Bobbies, real quick.
Yeah, Shaw Strong wrote. Well, yeah, fuck Deadbeat. So this will be a great match. Knock Deadmeat down, grab Deadmeat, throw him to the pole, throw him the DeadPit table. Not the table.
Table. Get the tables.
Fucking Deadbeat.
All right. Thank you for that, Bobby. And let's see. The other one I missed was Matt's, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Sasquatch are catch by humans sent to the zoo. Got that for the rest of their worthless lives.
Such rotting at the zoo. Jesus. That's dark.
That's the title. Sasquatch Sunset 2, rotting at the zoo. It rhymes.
And just like I just like to take one moment before you go, Mark, to just say, "About time you fuckwad. I know you could pass up my stew."
So part 5 is number 11 on my list. Let's take it.
It's number 1 in your heart, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
My final words.
Let me repeat. I like the movie. Just
Gotcha.
not. I like these other more.
Mark, if you got part 5 for this next one, I'm turning this fucking stream off. I just want you to know it.
I wish. No.
Actually, yeah, I mean, no, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I really love part 5.
Abort.
No, it's funny. All the reasons that you just mentioned, that's kind of how I feel about this one. This is the remake for anybody that can't see. That's the 2009 remake. Where do I even begin? Okay. It kills. It has blood. Plenty to go around, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I think the kills still suck. Like, you go from one thing. Well, I bet you do. I mean,
I'll talk about that much later.
No, I know. I know you're a fan of this one, but it's like throw an axe at this guy's back. Let's stab somebody with a screwdriver. Let's do this. Let's do that. None of it really feels all that visceral to me. You were just talking about visceral kills. They show quite a bit in this, and I still don't really get that vibe from it that I'd like to get. There's it'd take me like 2 days to list all the problems I have with this, but another one is probably
I'll tell you a big problem I got with it. Motherfucker's got a Piggly Wiggly bag over his face for half the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is another controversial take about the sacking too, but we'll get to that later.
That's what I mean. Didn't they have that in part 2, the whole movie?
I don't like that look either. I think that sucks. I think anybody with a sack
at least that
looks
was
like a douchebag. But
at least that was a pillow sack. He's literally got like a grocery store bag on his back. I don't know what that is supposed to be.
Yeah. But the characters in this suck. Especially like, so you have the whole like 25-minute intro or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I like that. That's fine. That's probably the best part. That's the actual visceral nature where I wanted from the rest of the kills, where you got the guy and
which is more than what part 5 had.
The chick in the sleeping bag. Well, I mean, come on, it's 2009. This is post Saw era. That's a little different. They were never going to do anything like that in 5 because they would never be able to get away with it. But
that's not the movie's. That's not that movie's fault.
That's true. But again, you're talking about 20 minutes or so of an opening, and the rest of the kills still suck. Look, again, I was talking about characters though. Look at all the stereotypical characters that you do have in this, and they all are so bad. That black dude, how does he say it? Is, oh, I'm a black man, so I got to listen to rap. That's how he says it. And it's fucking, when I saw that in the theater, I was like, I had to look from left to right. Did anybody just hear that? Like, it's fucking horrible. That Asian guy couldn't die quick enough. I mean, just, what is it, Jared? Is it Jared Padalecki?
Nick Nack Padalecki, yeah.
Yeah, I think CK calls him Paddle Dicky. But
he's
it's
just, he in like Supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's him and Jensen Ackles, I think, is the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just everything, the fucking, I got strings wrapped around trees with bells, and
he's growing weed.
Yeah, he's keeping chicks hostage. Like, I just, the bomb shelter bullshit, like all that stuff. It's bloated with a lot of crap. I hate the underground layer. Yeah. I should have put this one dead last, but
there's nothing wrong with that underground layer. Okay, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I don't know why people complain about it. Like, there's no underground ever anywhere. There's no mines anywhere. There's
But
no
why
underground
would
tunnels
Jason go
anywhere.
underground if he's Jason? Why would not he just stay like in the cabin or something? Like that doesn't make any sense. Why would he need to hide anybody?
It's the same
He's
kind of
Jason.
shit that happens in
Why does he
Halloween
put
ends. Though.
bodies up on fucking part 4 for people that like Chris Mandela's body there? Why does he do
Well,
anything? He's a
that's
Mondaloid. He's a fucking
'Cause
idiot.
that's
he's
posing.
proud of his work.
Yeah,
I mean,
He's
the
a
man
dumb
takes
fuck.
pride in his work.
you got an unstoppable killer hiding.
He's a Mondaloid
in an
dumb fuck.
underground
He's
lair.
always been a Mondaloid dumb fuck. We're worried about how intelligent he is.
See,
He's
I
always been a dumbass.
I don't think he was I don't think he was a dumbass in part 3. He had more of like a tinge.
He's
to
a
it.
horny dumbass.
Or part 4. I don't think he was.
horny.
I don't think he was a dumbass in part 6 either. Now, part 2, yeah, he was a dumbass. He's just running around like, hillbilly fucking killing everybody.
Mhm, mhm.
He's kind of a dumbass in part 7. He's just kind of like, what? And with that
Mhm.
cane harder breathing for some reason. That's another. We'll get into that later. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
he had the bodies in part 2 in the altar with his mom's head. So he put all the bodies in there, remember? So what's different with that? Remember he put all the bodies with the
This
head?
is a living person that he's hiding in an underground lair because apparently she looks like his mom, but then you look at the picture in
like
that
the Amy
locket or
Steele
whatever.
sweater.
But you look at the picture in the locket, that chick doesn't even look like his mom. So I was just like, I don't know. Anyway, we're going off on minutia tangents here. That doesn't really matter. Either way, for me, this is
He got tricked
this
because
is
someone
my
put
number
on a
10.
sweater. He put on
Yeah.
a sweater. He's like, "Dee, are you my mama?" He even sees his mom, and Amy still doesn't look anything like Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
just having
but-
fun.
She
No,
put
I
the
know what you mean.
fucking. She
Having
put the
fun.
Jedi mind trick on him. That's what
That's
she
right.
did. She was like,
She is a
You know?
psychologist, so yeah.
"Here we go.
Amy Steele's a psychologist. That is true.
This is your mother. See your mother." And then he was like, "Whoa," or whatever he did in that.
And all true. There's nothing wrong with Mark's list. I'm just having fun, folks.
Yeah, I mean,
There is something wrong though with that. I agree with that fucking movie. Like, and I don't even know. Like, I'm not going to break down all of the parts of it because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen it since roughly around the time it came out. But like,
mhm.
it just the look of it reminds me of a CW fucking show at that time. And
Mhm.
everybody in it looks like they're Abercrombie and Fitch models, and they all remind me of like CW fucking like one of those One Tree Hill shows or something like that around that
Yeah,
time.
like that's part of the thing too. It's just like they all have the same look. None of them really differentiate from the other. I mean, other than race maybe, and even still, then everybody's just kind of shitty. That's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I hate the music as well. Like all that new age music that's in it sucks.
Mark really doesn't like anything about this movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
can tell you.
but I will say if I got any good things to say about it, it's the best of the Platinum Dune stuff. I mean, to me.
I like Derek Mears as a person.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Like I think he's really cool. I mean, I've talked to him. Funny story. So Freddy, going back to Freddy versus Jason, really, really quick. I walked right by Ken Kersinger at a con. I had no interest. Like, what am I going to talk to him about? Like, but
That's a good point, really.
did talk to Derek Mears though. So that's why it's slightly above the other.
Real quick before we get into this, here you go, Rambo.
Uncle Bill and CD could be announcers and wrestlers. We talked about that before. That'd be fun. What was that thing like when you guys saw that wrestler of like Freddy fighting Leatherface or some wrestling? They were
Oh yeah, it was like Japanese. I forget the name of the promotion, but they used to do that constantly with like they would have wrestlers based on like real horror characters like Pinhead, Leatherface, Jason. I'm sure they had Freddy in there somewhere. So it was like the weirdest short period of time when all those people wrestled and they're like that, dressed in those gimmicks.
I could see you guys as announcers for that. That was actually pretty sincerely funny. When you're having a match, we get the guy from don't know who that is, another guy from don't know who that is to the announcing world. I buy CT and Uncle Bill being announcers. I think they know the moves. They would be entertaining. They'd be like Jesse Ventura, and you'd be like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. I could see that perfectly. You guys being announcers like that.
I think I'd be more like Mike Tenay to CK's. Let's see. Yeah, probably Mike Tenay to CK's like Bobby the Brain. WCW era. You got one more here. Hold on.
May Sexual Sensitive to Ride at the Zoo. Would you see it? Why the fuck would I see that movie?
You'd love it.
I didn't like the first fucking movie. I don't want to see more Sasquatch taking dumps on fucking roads.
So,
Friday 13 Part 5 is better than that movie. Okay.
Friday 13 Part 5 is better than everything. All right, real quick though. There's a lot of talk about this. There seems to be quite a mixture of responses about the remake. About half and half. Like a lot of people like the remake and a lot of people really hate the remake. That's probably the most divisive one that I've seen so far from the chat. Most people are on board with Jason X and ones like that as being shitty, but like for some reason the remake, well, shit, let me do it again. For some reason the remake gets more love than those.
I mean, I think it's for the remake that it was, and it did enough to be passable, I think, for most fans like of the franchise. But I like a different style of Jason, a whole lot of different everything other than this one. But I don't hate any of them. There's a lot I dislike about the remake, but to say that I'd hate it wholeheartedly, that would be pretty strong. I still like the Jason character. I grew up with the franchise. It's hard for me to hate any of them.
So I guess it's back to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hear what's next.
No, so that's number 10.
Uh-huh.
It would be the first one.
God damn it.
I liked it. But I think when you watch it, it's an average movie. Good gore, good score. Betsy Palmer's good. But
you don't like the mystery?
Well, it's bullshit mystery because you can't even solve it till the last 5 minutes because she's not even in it till the last 5 fucking minutes.
Look at this.
I'm being sincere. I like the film, but
you're just trolling.
He's the king of controversy, people.
But come on, like when people talk about classics, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic. Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic. I respect Friday the 13th because without it, we would not have the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
How's it the best story? Why it's the same fucking story. It's some crazy fucks killing people, but you find out it's a crazy grandma killing people. And good kills by Tom Savini, good score. But when I watch the film, I go, it's okay. But I know that's not fair to say, but it just comes off as average watch it today with the point of view shots. And we've seen it done all these. It's just there's other slasher films of that era I like. I like Terror Train more. I like My Bloody Valentine more. There's because the sequels have come out and there's either fun gimmicks or fun, crazy, insane action pieces, or just it goes wild or crazy or silly. There's just other stuff that came out that do others. Just when you watch it again. I didn't watch these films back to the day in order. My number one is the first one I saw. So I don't have that mindset where I grew up with it as a kid. I saw these the first time when I was a teen. I see the other films, so I don't have, I wouldn't say nostalgia for it. And as I watch it, I'm like, I think the director is such a so-so director. I do not think that motherfucker is up there with John Carpenter and Wes Craven. And just I look at all the other films he's done. Deep Star 6 is just okay. He was an average director. He's an average director who made an average film, Saved by the Store, The Door, and Betsy Palmer. Without those three, it would just be a typical one-off. Those three assets saved that film to me. Part 2, Amy Steele and the Jason character really developed that more, and then the hockey mask and all the gimmicks onward made that. I think a lot of the sequels are better than the first one.
You didn't mention Adrienne King. How do you feel about her, like as a final girl?
She's fine. Okay. I liked her. She's fine.
So, what number did you rank that one at? Part 1, what number was it ranked at, Rambo, for you?
10.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, to be
it's just the way it's directed by Sean Connery. I think if it was someone else like Halloween that had more style, I don't think it has any atmosphere. I don't think it has any scares. I like Betsy Palmer, but she's a good actress. She gives a good performance, but the stuff she does is so fucking ridiculous that it's hard to take that seriously. Like grandma is going to throw people through windows like a sack of potatoes. A woman
again,
80 years old,
freakish kid death strength. You're forgetting.
She put
whenever anybody's kid dies,
put the guy up with like 5 arrows and he's hanging up there. She did it all by her goddamn self.
Yes, she's got superhuman freaking kid death strength.
This far off the ground with like 4 or 5 arrows. He's like, ugh. Hey, she did it.
How is he again?
She looks like she could barely carry fucking milk jugs.
For all you know, she's got a 6-pack under that baggy sweater. She's been working out all summer.
She was doing CrossFit before it was even there. Like,
I'm sorry, Vanderhoff, 75 years old. And I like the actress. It's just, to me, Jason is the franchise.
Listen,
I will agree with that.
Here's the weird thing. I agree with pretty much everything that you're saying. I think that Friday the 13th is an average slasher movie before Betsy Palmer shows up. I really do. Like, I agree with that part of it. And I do agree with Sean Cunningham not being on the same level as Carpenter, Craven, Romero, those people for sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. As a whole, that movie to me works a lot better than some of the other movies. Like, and that's, I guess, the reason I would rank it higher. But I get, not to make you think that I don't get what you're saying, because I do agree.
Well, I agree with Super A. If like how it's not even much of a mystery because there's no clues. There's like, to me, how does it even work as a good mystery? Usually you would have clues to try to piece together. So it just comes off as like a cheat at the end, like a brand new character comes in. I don't think that's good storytelling.
Yeah.
I know people like, who gives a shit? It's Friday 13th. I get that, but I'm just bringing that up. By the way, I don't hate the film. Like I said, I liked the film. I like Adrienne King. I think she's a sweet, not only seems like in person, but as a character. I do think that Crazy Ralph is a good character. I wish he was in it more.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just had to say this because I just realized that was your number 10, right?
Yeah.
So my number 9 actually would be the first one as well. So
1 sec.
Okay, well, you take it then.
I mean, you pretty much summed it all up. I mean,
I don't hate the film, but
I don't hate it either. I mean, I actually do like the POV shots and all that stuff.
Yeah. I thought that was done better in Halloween.
Yeah.
The POV stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, cinematography wise and all that stuff. Of
That's
course,
saying, why would I watch Friday 13 where to just watch Halloween? Those two first.
Yeah,
other than the Betsy Palmer, the last 5 minutes, which is she's good. But sorry,
yeah. No. I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head for everything. I mean, the characters are just okay. I mean, you guys know I'm a big mark for Kevin Bacon, but he doesn't do a whole lot in that. Like, I mean, most memorable thing that he does do is get killed. So it's like, you know, I had a hard time trying to rank this one because I do like it, and it felt really weird to put it next to the remake. So, I mean, it just, there's not a whole lot. Oh my God.
So that's your real feeling, Mark. I see.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Mark.
Yeah, even though I wasn't even alive when the movie came out, but but yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I always thought Cunningham was average as a filmmaker. The only other movie that I really truly enjoy of his besides this is The New Kids. I like that one quite a bit. But it's got some cool death scenes and stuff. Like, it's just, I can't really, you touched on everything. And I know we said we'd go for like the same number, but that wouldn't really work. So I just figured since that was my next one, might as well just get it out the way so you could go again.
So this will be your number 9, Rambo.
See how this goes. Okay, number 9. I looked at this as a movie. If it was just as a Jason movie, it would be number 11, probably, or 12. It'd be one as a Jason movie. But yeah, I'm looking at it as a movie. So number 9 would be Freddy vs. Jason. Because I'm more of a, like I said, when I was a kid, I'm more of a Freddy guy. And that's the thing. Jason, I didn't know till I was probably in my 15. Well, other than Jason Goes to Hell, the rest I saw, but I was like 15 or so. Freddy was what I saw growing up. So being a big Freddy fan, I think that's more of a Freddy movie.
Mm-hmm.
As a Jason movie, yeah, Jason's a pussy that's afraid of water.
Yeah.
And I hate the way he looks. It's my least favorite look. He looks like a fucking hobo. I do not like the look of Jason. I do not. He walks like he shit his pants. I don't like that Jason at all. But I love Robert Englund's performance. Hopefully that's the last time he plays it in a movie. Please, no more sequel reboots with Nancy with a shotgun.
It's gonna happen, I promise.
But I love Robert Englund's performance. I thought he had a lot of energy to him. I like the demon stuff you mentioned. I do like I think it was slick enough. They had a big budget, so I like the look of it. Like you said, the dreams with the red. I do like the gore. They definitely try to go for the gore. And I like the fight at the end. I think the fight, nostalgia in the theater, I saw that, and the audience is just going crazy, hooping and hollering. So that fond memory remains. I don't like it as much as I used to because of the way they handle Jason, because the human characters aren't that great at all. But because I like Robert Englund, because I like the way that the film is shot, because I like the crazy gore, because the fight scene is a lot of fun, and action is my favorite genre, so I'm more of an action than horror guy. That helped a lot, that fight scene that I never thought we'd be able to see. If they, and no, Mayor, Elm Street 5 is 10 times worse than Freddy vs. Jason, in my opinion. You had a guy made a comic book, and he died being a piece of paper. In my opinion, at least. Freddy vs. Jason, it has a lot of issues, but I put it at number 9 because of, as a Freddy Krueger film, I like the stuff he did in the dream scenes. That bit you mentioned where he's fucking the chicken.
That's the best scene.
And it has your girl in it from Ginger Snaps. Which
Yeah.
I wish she was the lead. If she was the lead, I think
I agree.
You like Monica Keena, who
No,
was famous for about 2 years. And
she's
just
like
fell off the face of the earth.
a less version Brittany Murphy. That's what she reminded me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less talented.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'd take her over Kelly Rowland, but that's just me.
It's not much of a choice.
I mean, at least she looks better. Kelly Rowland, let me not say that. I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
that.
don't. Probably best if you don't.
No, yeah, I had to catch myself there. Okay. Make sure I got these in the right order here. All right, so this one might surprise a few people, but the only really cool thing about this are the look of Jason. This is part 7.
Hmm.
The look of Jason. That's probably one of my favorite designs. It's just the whole thing with, I mean, because it's essentially like a telepath versus Jason. That either works for you or it doesn't work. And I'm kind of in the middle on that. Like, it's such a weird thing to do, like in a franchise that never had anything like that before. Granted, it is a supernatural character, Jason, I mean. But she's just kind of there. Maybe if it was a better actress and they did a little bit more with it. I know it is a smaller budget film, so you can't go too crazy with like the set pieces of her fighting Jason and stuff like that. But like, it just it's always been one of those that like I look at and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I could watch it. I just know that like it's got a huge fan base. I'm not particularly in that group of huge fan base. I like John Carl Leclerc a lot. I love his work. He's a legend.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's just kind of there for me. Never been that big on part 7, but I don't hate it either.
I used to love part 7 because of the look. And then you go back and watch it and you realize that the actual like look of the film, the cinematography and everything is awful. And it just looks really cheap. And it's clear that it's done on like stages. It's just not, it doesn't have a good look or any kind of good, like, you know, set decoration or any good atmosphere to it. It's just fucking just there. And I mean, the idea behind the kills are good, but they wouldn't let him do it anyway. So it's like, it's pointless. You know, a lot of the stuff that he wanted to do gets completely fucked over.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you have to like the idea to like this movie of like Carrie versus Jason for one thing.
Yeah, I mean the whole bit with her father coming back through the dock scene.
I've never understood any of that.
I don't like that. Like, so what? He pulls Jason down. Like that's supposed to be like the end. I do like the house explosion at the end. That looks pretty cool. The fire stunts are cool. Kane Hodder's solid. There's a couple of cool shots toward the beginning where like he rises up out of the water, the way he moves. So there's plenty of cool stuff like in it sprinkled in there. It just, as a whole, I don't know. And then like that chemistry was like non-existent between the two leads.
Yeah,
they tried to force
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that, but
yeah.
They tried to force that so much and it just doesn't work. And that's one of the main like themes of the movie is like them like trying to get together, which is kind of weird because I don't think they ever really did that in any of the other Friday the 13th movies too much, where they're trying to force like this connection between two characters.
Well, part 6, but I mean, like,
I guess
work.
That seems to work a little bit more than this. Yeah.
It is odd though that she, like in part 6, she immediately like just wants to fuck him and will do anything like against to get him out of that. You know what I mean? Like she just is, she sees him and she's like, this guy is fucking completely innocent. I'm going to help him like break out of here. There's no like reason behind it. Anyway, get into that later.
I mean, you know, they at least try to make a case that like she's this rebellious girl and, you know, she's the cop's daughter. So of course she gets into a lot of trouble kind of thing. So I could get that. But in this movie, I could take it or leave it. Go ahead, Rambo.
So that's number 8. Honestly, I mean, if you ask me like next month, some of these could be changed. So it was a bit harder here because, like I said, these 8, I do like all of them. Some of them kind of equally. So, but part 8, I guess I would choose, part 3, which I do like the kills. I do like the, I don't mind the comic relief character, the guy who, Shelley.
Shelley, yeah.
The hockey mask is a great addition. I think that guy who played Jason did a wonderful job. May he rest in peace.
That was Richard Brooker, right?
Yeah, Richard Brooker. Definitely a creepy type of Jason. I do appreciate that aspect.
The Porky
But
Pig Jason. I can never get that out of my head after somebody said that.
oh god, yeah, he does. I put a bit lower though because I've never been able to see it in actual 3D. So when you see the 3D stuff, it does look goofy because of that. So
Not to
yeah.
Sorry, I had to jump in, but I agree with you on that. Like it would have been a little bit further back on my list, but because now Scream Factory did put out like that 3D version of it, that's the only way I watch it when I do watch that one. And it does help immensely. Like how you were talking about with the effects of like part 5, if there was a lot more, it's like an extra coda of like entertainment like added onto the movie. I mean, that's what it was made for. It was made to be a 3D movie. So
I remember watching that when it came out in those DVDs, and then it had the 3D glasses with it and stuff. And it was like the worst 3D ever, man. Like it
was
didn't
it
look
red and
normal.
blue glasses or blue and green
the
or
red,
some shit?
like I think
Yeah.
they were red and blue, yeah. And then like it
It's
just
horrible.
didn't do anything, and it just
No.
gave you a headache trying to even do it.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, like you said, like the idea behind it is great, and then when it actually works, like it does add something to the whole experience of it.
Yeah, it really does.
Would you prefer if they did not shoot in 3D? It was
For
just regular
not
mode?
really. There's only one scene in that movie that always bothers me, and it's the one where the Paul Craig gets his head popped and the eyeball shoots out, and you can clearly
Mhm.
see the line that it's on. It's like,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, shit, that's awful looking. Like, it just they made no effort to clean that up at all.
But overall, I mean, it works. It's a cool gimmick. I'm glad they did it. It's still fun. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, so again, because I can't really see it properly, maybe if I did, maybe that would change. Also, I don't like Dana Kimmel. I'm not big on her as the
Mhm.
lead.
She's kind of a skank in real life too, from what I understand. I mean, not like I mean, she's
Really?
just an asshole. Yeah.
What do you hear?
Well, there was the whole thing where like she after she got done with the movie, she said something like that she never what was it? She never really wanted to be in it or something like there was something where she talked down about the movies like after like that series was over with. And there was something else to it too, but I can't remember. Because somebody used to, who I can't mention anymore, used to talk about this all the time. And like there's I think an interview in Fangoria with her where she talks about it or
Is that in the Crystal Lake Memories thing?
maybe. Yeah. Maybe somebody here knows more about it than I do, but like I know there was something with her where she just was not having any of that movie, and therefore, like I've never really liked her before, and her performance is not good either, to be honest. But she does get like almost sexually assaulted for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
We're all good people, but that is a cool scene. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's
effective.
a weird scene. I'll say that, like to see it, like
Yeah, I mean, because like you see his face and like just the setting that it's in, it's effective, I think.
Even though, isn't he like when was that supposed to have happened?
what?
That
It was a flashback sequence.
Yeah, but
like,
was that supposed to happen before part 2 was a thing? Like in the timeline of that? Because he doesn't have he has the same clothes that he has in part 3, and he doesn't have the tater sack.
Yeah.
He just has. So is that supposed to happen before part 2? And I guess that
I have
timeline.
no idea. Real quick though, super chat.
Yeah.
Do they do real house explosions in movies anymore? No, not that I've seen. They CG the shit out of everything now. Yeah. There was another one. I missed another one too. Hold on. From
No
did I miss this one from Bobby? I think I did.
Oh, sorry about that. Combine Braun Strowman and Brian Shaw. I don't know who that is, but have him body slam dead meat, and I'll be fine with it. One last thing I'll say, another thing that was confusing is why the fuck does she have a nightmare on the mom when she would not know the mom exists? How would Dana Timmel know the mom even exists to have her have a nightmare where she has her head, the mom has her head grabbing her? Like, how the fuck does that make sense?
Maybe she heard the stories around the campfire, so she just, I don't know.
Maybe
She had
she's
the
psychic.
dream. Yeah.
Heard what the story of the dead mom that they haven't even found her dead body yet because part 2's happened the same time as part 3. The them getting the bodies. Just don't they pass by the camp in part 2? Like they see the authorities. So
yeah, but I mean, she would have been already dead. So I mean, don't they tell the story around a campfire in part 2? I mean,
of the mom?
No, just about like the legend or the Jason thing, you know, like the whole.
But yeah,
that happened.
I still don't know why she would have a nightmare about the mom. I don't know. I always thought it was weird to me.
Yeah.
It's like we gotta do the first movie ending because we're lazy as fuck. But I like part 3. So, but I do think it has issues. But I like part 3. So that's the mark.
Cool. All right. So my next one is some people off right now. It's part 6.
Don't piss me off. It'll be way further down that fucking list.
I used to love part 6.
My ass looking at me like he's gonna kill my ass.
Who is?
You are like it.
No,
no, sold the shit out of that one.
No, I'm looking at the chat.
I used to love part 6 a lot more. I think maybe I watched it way too much. I never liked the comedy in it. I don't like the look of Jason in it. It's got some okay kills when they're not being silly, but I don't know. I mean, the whole Tommy Jarvis thing, I do like. I appreciate that they kept that going. That was pretty cool. Never mind that he's an adult. It's only been a few years, but we'll let that slide for continuity's sake. But it's just, it's a type of film where, like, I think it wore out its welcome for me because I watched it so many times. Like, I mean, all the stuff that I said that I dislike about it is still true. That's always been the case. But yeah, it's just not as entertaining. Did that happen for either one of you? Like, where you probably watch a certain movie too much, not necessarily part 6, but just anything where you watch it way too much.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it's not just me.
Yeah, that's happened.
I mean, I'm not sure if that happened with part 6. I saw part 6 a lot, but like my biggest problem with part 6 is that like I think that a Friday the 13th movie should be a certain way, should look a certain way. Like, and they really went like a completely different direction with that. Now there's people that love that, and then there's people like me. So it's like it's like a monster movie, like a Universal monster movie, which is what he wanted it to be. But it's like that don't work for me, brother. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole Batman utility belt, the yellow gardening gloves, the fucking button down, the extremely tight pants. It just, I hate the look.
Noticed his pants.
Everything about the way Jason looks in this one sucks, in my opinion. That's just me.
He does look like a gardener, though. Now that you mention it, like,
yeah. And so that's differing opinions. There was I'd actually take the part 8 look over part 6, but that's just me.
His mask pissed yellow. Someone pissed on it.
I mean, what's wrong with that? He's soaking in the lake. He's soaking in the lake. It's gonna turn yellow.
You want your bag to look around like you got pissed on the whole time.
Maybe he's into water sports, Rambo. You shouldn't judge him. He's got his own kinks. You got your own kinks. Damn.
If anyone's into water sports, I do judge you. I'm judging you harshly. Get that shit washed. Find Jesus. If you're into water sports, find Jesus.
Find Jesus immediately. And please use a garbage bag because you're going to ruin your sheets.
Or some soap.
Something.
But yeah, I mean, the stunt with
water sports.
flipping the RV though is cool. It's got some cool moments for sure. I like the opening a lot. Yeah. Court.
Yeah, the opening is killer. I agree with that. It's got a lot. It's a well-made movie.
Yeah.
It might be the most well-made of all the movies, but I think that's what makes me
Mhm.
not like it. It's just like I don't need those movies to be well-made. Like they should look like shit. They
Mhm.
should be like, you know what I mean? Like they should be like an exploitation movie. They shouldn't be like a
Yeah.
cinematic masterpiece. Fucking, it's just too well made. I'm going to say that right now that Part 6 is too well made.
You said
my
Part 7 was
liking.
bad because it looked like shit.
Exactly. It looks
But you
too
said that was
shitty.
bad.
Like Part 7. See, there's a delicate balance here. Part 7 looks like it. You can like literally tell it was made on like a lot, and like nothing
yeah.
about it looks even remotely real. And then
Mhm.
Part 6 looks like this big, it's like this big epic kind of cinematic. It's like the Star Wars of the fucking Friday the 13th movies or something. And I don't need that either.
That's why Mark don't like it.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
I did. Shit.
Yeah, but that's pretty much my piece on Part 6. I could keep going, but we didn't get enough time for that. You go ahead, Matt.
Okay. So that's number 7. Again, like I said, some of these could flip, some could go higher or lower, like if you ask me a month from now.
Same here.
Like I said, this could go higher and stuff, but I just put Part 4. I like Part 4. I like Part 4, we repeat. Great gore. Fuck, I'll put it there for Corey Feldman. I want him pile drive through the fucking floor.
God.
That's probably the only reason I put him there is just as Corey Feldman. I hate the motherfucker. The more as time has gone on, I hate him more and more. He's a piece of shit.
Even the kid Corey Feldman, what did he do?
He became the shithead Corey Feldman, pretended to be Michael Jackson. Part 4 is good though. Good gore.
Mm-hmm.
Crispin Glover and his buddy, I thought were the best characters. I wish they were the leads, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If they were the leads, this would be much higher. I like Ted White. But then you get into the point where, other than the gore, it's like, okay, it's kind of the same movie as Part 3 and Part 2. And it's kind of like people in one spot in the woods getting killed one by one. Of course, it's Friday the 13th, but like, so the story isn't much, but it's a good movie because of the gore and stuff. But again, when you get to Part 4, it's like the story's just the same as Part 3 and Part 2 and Part 1. So
sorry, Justin Smith's comment.
no, I'm saying the reasons I'm given.
We've said this before. Like, you can't really judge people based on films. It's just a completely subjective kind of fucking thing. So,
Oh, don't worry, I get it a lot, so I'm not. It's fine with me. I knew it going in, so whoop-de-doo. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. Crispin Glover and his buddy are cool, though. I wish they were the leads. But fuck Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman.
Like I said, the story's just the same as Part 3 and Part 2, so it's just like, okay, I'm kind of waiting for something different, unique to happen, which is why I like the gimmicks more in some of the later sequels.
I was curious though, like, because I always thought that like Part 4 was a good combination of Part 6 and Part 5. If I like, it's cinematic enough, but it's also like got some, really good kill scenes and gory kind of stuff in it, and kind of trashy in certain ways too.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about Kimberly Beck? Because I never really she's another one. I never really. She's just kind of there. She's like a vanilla,
She's okay to me. I don't mind her.
Yeah, she's fine. It just, they didn't give her that much to do. The whole jumping out the window thing, and like, it just, I don't know. And honestly, I think the chick in Part 3 does a better job at least fending off Jason. At least she grabs the chainsaw and shit. Like, but that's just me.
There is a scene in this movie that always fucking kills me too, and I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's in part 4 where Jason like busts in and throws the hammer
Yeah.
at and it fucking hammer sticks like front ways into the wall.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I was like, what?
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there, really. But yeah, that movie, part 4, does have the Crispin Glover dance scene in it, which is kind of like legendary now. It's got the dead fuck sequence, which is kind of
Yeah.
legendary.
Mhm.
It's got Tom Savini, who's a prick but does some good special effects. It's I think the opening scene's really good in the with the coroner and all that. Or not the coroner, but is he a coroner? What the fuck is he? He's like a assistant, like a
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could consider him a corner.
yeah, like that
Yeah,
that
'cause
whole
he's in,
thing.
he's in the room with the dead body, so I would
Yeah.
assume.
Hmm.
But the end sequence is kind of like part 2 as well, where they mindfuck Jason. And like it's another one of those where it's like, you know, rather than it being the mother, now Jason thinks it's his younger self. I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily love the ending or anything with Corey Feldman whacking at him and shit. And like,
Mhm.
I like the effect that Savini did. I think that's a cool effect.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think the idea of like a little kid fucking up, you know, Jason is an odd kind of idea.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's you, Mark.
Okay. So I think at this point we're down to, at least for me, number 6.
Yep.
So Dead in the Middle, the one everybody hates, and I can kind of understand why, is part 8. So hear me out on this one. A lot of nostalgia for this is a big part of why I still like the movie. It was the first one I bought on VHS. Like Rambo, I think you said you saw him out of order, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is not the first one I saw, but it's the first one that I owned on VHS. I can still remember walking into Suncoast, grabbing that VHS, and I got it literally based off, because I think the VHS was this cover, not the other one. Yeah, it was this cover. So you see that automatically, and you're like, New York? Oh my God, Jason. So the premise that you're sold on is what gets you to want to watch it or even to buy it. And even though I didn't fully get Jason Takes Manhattan, I still like the movie. I know the whole thing you talked about with the ending. Yeah, the sewer flooding and all that stuff. I get it. Jensen Daggett is not that great either. But I don't know what it is. Like, it's got enough in it there for me that where it kind of does feel like it's somewhat of an exploitation movie. Maybe the look of Jason as well helps. It's got some, yeah, that is bizarre.
That's it.
Randy gets a pen.
It's Stephen King's pen. Don't forget that. They make sure to point that out in the movie.
Well,
yeah, the rooftop fight is classic. All the stuff when they're in New York, supposedly, I quite enjoy that half of the movie a lot more. They did the best that they could do on the ship. It's a lot of sleazy characters, a lot of shitheads, and I enjoy that in a Friday the 13th movie. It just lends itself to being more of an exploitation style film to me. Yeah, everybody, they have their own, how should I say, characteristics that make them stand out.
yeah, they're like, it's almost like wrestlers or something. They all have a gimmick in
Yeah.
part 8. You know what I mean? Like one's the
Pretty much.
guitar player,
Mm-hmm.
and one's the nerdy like AV guy.
Yeah.
They've all got some sort of like gimmick, which is
Yeah.
the way you should do it in slasher movies, to be honest. Like it should be like almost like a cartoon character, because
Mhm.
like that way, you know, I mean, it's you just accentuate characteristics of somebody to at least, because they're only going to be on screen 5 minutes. They need to have some sort of gimmick. You're not going to get to
Mhm.
know them or anything. They're going to be dead like in 5 minutes. So, you know, they're enhancement talent for Jason. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I also think that one was pretty like neutered by the MPAA. I've seen photos of some of the uncut death scenes. Probably never get it, but I'm hopeful that we do at some point. It'd be nice to get like a full cut of it. It would only add to what I already like about the movie. It feels sleazy enough. I mean, the whole like thing with those guys, those druggies at the end shooting her up with, I guess it's heroin or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got just enough of everything that I kind of like in a Friday the 13th movie to make it fun for me. But that's just me. So you go ahead, Rambo. That's it.
You thought that was controversial? I didn't think that was controversial.
Mm.
Hey.
I'm being serious.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about like the ranking more so than anything, not the movie itself.
No, this will be controversial. So, number 6. You may be wondering, I haven't mentioned this movie yet. Well, this is when I mentioned it. Jason X.
I figured.
Sorry.
It's silly, it's stupid, and that's what I like about it. I'm a big sci-fi fan. That helps. I like it's got a big body count. I enjoyed for that. I like how weird and quirky it is. I like the whole hologram with the "we love premarital sex" and the titties are out, and he's hit one woman with another woman with a fucking sleeping bag. I liked a lot of the kills, whether it be a guy gets stabbed, turns around, then he pulls it out from the other side. The girl getting froze and blown up to bits with her head. I like that he starts killing Marines like he's Rambo. I like that. That's I love what do you say? I'm a Rambo guy, so I like that he's hiding from mercs with guns and he's like killing them one by one, either breaking their neck or he punches one, they drop and impaled on a drill. And I think the person says he's screwed. I like the lead girl. I just wish she had more to do in the third act. I like the cyborg lady. The fact that she has nipples fucking fall off. That did make me laugh. The effects are crap, but I enjoyed it in like hey, this is goofy, silly, stupid. I didn't take the film seriously. I even like the trailer. I remember the trailer where you had the "Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies," which I like that song, but when they played it 100 times, I got tired of it.
It was on every like wrestling show.
Every horror movie that you've ever seen at that time, a wrestling show, yeah.
But thankfully it's been gone for a while, so I did listen to it before we did this, and I do like the song, but I don't usually like using the word cheesy, but that would fit with that for me. And I think for the budget they had, it was ambitious. It's just they didn't have the budget for the effects. They did it, but I do appreciate them just for Jason 10. It's okay, we go to the woods for the 8th time or do something stupid. It is stupid, but I had fun with the stupidity. I like David Cronenberg's cameo where he's like, I like his flesh soft, or whatever the fuck he said. And he gets killed, like Jason throws a spear through him. Like I said, it's got a pretty good body count. It's got some nudity in it. I like the guy, Sergeant Brosty. He gets stabbed, and he's like, it's going to take that more than that to get rid of me. Then he gets stabbed again. He's like, that might do it. But he's the guy like who won't stay down and stay dead. Like I said, even the stupid lines I laughed at. He just wanted his machete back. That's the line. Yep, that'll do it. So it's one of those things that it's not like the other ones. I was fine with that. Yeah, I just thought it was such silly, dumb. Of course, it's Jason in space. Of course, it's dumb.
Damn.
The concept was always going to be dumb, but if I say I didn't have fun, I would be lying. The characters aren't the best, to be fair. like I said, I like the lead girl. I just wish she had more to do in the third act. And it was entertaining. Uber Jason was cool, but they did not do anything with him. So that's definitely a flaw. I wish they did more with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the look of it. I guess also I just appreciate his ambition. It's not 100% successful, but man, I could still have fun with that movie. I can. But again, I'm more of a. I like sci-fi as well, so I think that helped. I mean, how my favorite film is sci-fi action Alien, so there's a little bit of that with the Marines, like trying to put in there. So, but again, I grew up with monster movies and sci-fi stuff like Leviathan, Watchers 2, all those type of movies. So that was my mindset growing up as a kid. Not so much. I didn't grow up with slasher films other than Freddy. I grew up with monster movies and alien films and sci-fi films. So that mindset of those are films that I was brought into with horror.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of it as well. That mindset I have. So I know it's a weird mindset, but it's my own mindset. Yeah, Watchers 2, I love. Got the Blu-ray there.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Just Watchers 2 was indeed dope, y'all.
But that's all I got.
Okay. Well, now we're down to the top 5 for me. And this one is one that is a big favorite of a lot of people, and I enjoy it, which is why it's in my top 5. And that's part 2. So this one has such a dark, brooding atmosphere to it that I just really, really enjoy. I don't know if I really got that as much from any of the other films. Do you guys think that? Like, I would say this one has such a just the atmosphere of it, the tone, like it seems
It's
very, very dark.
It's completely unlike any of the others in terms of it is not at all trying to be fun.
Exactly.
Not.
Thank you, UB. That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's not trying to be fun. It's really going for it, which I always appreciate in any film when they go for it. Of course, Amy Steele is the best. There's no denying that. I'm trying to think of any like downsides because I could put it over all day long.
Yeah, Jason's look.
Yeah, there you go. Which I mentioned earlier, actually. No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big fan of that. I know
because some do. Some prefer that.
Yeah. And maybe to some, like maybe it's scarier or even darker if his Jason, the character, doesn't really have much personality in terms of his look, but the hockey mask gives him nothing but personality, and I like that more. So I could see both sides of it, but for me personally, I just never really cared for the sack on the head. I don't know, it's just kind of
They
there.
missed a real opportunity in part 3 to have the tagline be "The sack is back." That would have been killing. But no, I think that, like, as I sit here and think about it, I mean, there's really nothing that's like, like that gimmick could have been used in any slasher film from the 80s. You know what I mean? Like and it was used in The Talent Dreaded Sundown. But I mean, like
right.
any, inbred looking dude, like that'd been done 10, 20 times by the time that movie was even made. So like none of that's really that original or anything like that. I mean, the hockey mask is, based on who you ask, not necessarily original either, but like it seems to be more original to me than that kind of inbred hillbilly fucker that jumps through the window kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean he's got like fucking overalls or whatever.
It looks like the Elephant Man.
Yeah, I don't care for the design of how he looks either without the sack on.
He clearly looks like makeup, prosthetics, and like fake hair, and it just that doesn't work.
But all the bits in it, like the death scenes and the scares that do come very frequently. That's another thing. The pace. I really like the pace in this one. I think it's one of the best paced out of all of them.
do
I
too.
think, yeah, I think had they had just a little bit more blood, a little bit more gore, it would have been really, really cool. What about Steve Dash?
Played cards with him.
Oh,
Mark
okay.
He's talking about Warrington Gillette.
Brown.
By the way, I think
Yeah.
anybody that knows anything about Steve Dash, even when we did an interview with him, he fucking hates Warrington Gillette. So
Yeah, I remember that. That was some great stories from him in that.
Told
that
you got
interview.
my fucking picture. You took my fucking picture.
oh my god, I can't put that comment up, but that's comment's killer from the mayor.
Oh yeah, I see it.
That's a good question.
I mean, not unless like the 4K release box set has the uncut stuff that everybody's been clamoring for years. That's the main thing that's going to make it.
That'd be the only way.
Yeah.
That's killer because I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
I remember Steve Dash telling a story about like one time where he was at one with Gillette, and it was not a very good time for either one of them because they kind of got. Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Steve Dash is a legitimate, like, tough guy, stunt man, like,
yeah.
And Gillette was not any of those things. He was just some dude that they just kind of hired for that one thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I can imagine that would not go over well at a convention.
Yeah.
You could jump through a fucking window. They had to swing your ass through the window.
Brother. He sounded like Taz. He really did. From the Red Hook District, fucking Steve Dash.
Because I remember when you guys on your show when that story was happening. I remember that vividly. It was such a memorable story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love part two. There's not too much I don't like about that one. So you go ahead, Rambo.
So number 5, I actually do like this one. I saw in the theater, the remake. Go ahead, Mark. What's your number 4? Okay.
One second.
I saw in the theater. I like the reboot.
Oh, shit.
I like Darren Mears. I think it's one of my favorite portrayals of Jason. I love just how energetic he was and how fast he was, and I thought the look of the mask looked cool. And Darren Mears, like I said, I think he did a bang-up job. I like the kills, I like the nudity, I like the pacing. The tunnels didn't bother me. I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, whether it be a shed or a tunnel, it's he can live where the hell he wants. I like Jared Padalecki. I don't not bother with him. I didn't mind the Asian guy. I thought he was actually pretty funny. I thought the guy was a good douchebag, and I like that Jason throws him in the back of a pickup truck and gets impaled. I like the kills. I like the axe to the back. I like the girl who gets under the dots and goes right through her head and is lifted up and it shows the titties. So thank you for that. And
that's Wheel of Ford. That's probably my favorite scene in that whole movie, by the way.
That's a good scene.
That is a great scene.
That's Friday 13th. You got the death and then here's the tits.
Yeah. There's 2 big reasons why that's a great scene. You know what I mean?
And people say it looks like the remake of Texas, but I like the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know that's going to piss Wes off.
One minute.
Okay, go ahead. I like the remake of Chainsaw Massacre. The original was the best. Then I'll put part 2.
What the fuck? Wait, you said the original was the best, then you put part 2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were putting the remake ahead of it, and I was
the original is
a nervous breakdown on here.
No, the original Texas is fantastic. I mean, I know, tangent. The original I love. I think it's a fantastic horror movie. The original Texas Chainsaw, and part 2 I would put after it. I think the third best one for me was the remake of Texas. Arlie Ermy. Anyway, so
Yeah,
I don't mind that
I,
look.
I don't ranking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films to me is kind of like, I mean, none of them I think after part 1 are that great anyway. So like, yeah, I can see why you would rank any of them anywhere after that because they're just they're
Yeah.
all over the fucking place, really.
So yeah, I don't mind that look. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, I got sidetracked. I was just like, again, that look just doesn't bother me. I don't know, it just didn't bother me. I was fine with it. And like I said, I didn't really get the hated God. I thought it was a nice reintroduction where they gave you kind of the greatest hits. And then I wish then they would continue that. I do. I wish they would have continued that and have Jason in the snow in the second one. Have it take place around Christmas. I think that would have been a good sequel. But, they didn't do that. So again, I like the killer. I don't mind Jared Padalecki. The guy who's the douchebag played a really good, unlikable dick.
Mm-hmm.
The women were hot and beautiful. It had, I think, some of the hottest women in the franchise. I mean, the girl in part 5 is great as well. Don't get me wrong. Of course. But I think all the girls are, WC Voorhees,
yep.
of course. Respect to her.
Respect.
But I think all the girls in the remake are great to look at, and a good chunk of them show their tits. That probably is the most nudity-filled Friday. Is the remake, because you have the sex scene early on, you got the titties during the death, the douchebag has sex with the girl before she dies. Again, it's probably the most tittylicious Friday, so that's another plus. So I don't mind the kills. I never hated it. I just never hated it.
The fuck are you talking about, Caleb?
He's trolling.
The fuck? Did
So
you drink paint before you come in here or something? What's wrong with you? Sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. So yeah, the remake, the most tittylicious of the
There's a bunch of people here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh.
I never hated the remake. I had a good time at the theater. I rewatched it less than a year ago, and I'm like, I thought it was pretty good.
Yes, we have a Discord, but unfortunately, I don't know shit all about it, so I don't know where to point you to like get on it. I mean, in terms of the link or anything.
I might be able to. Wait, are you a patron though, Charles? Let me know if you're a patron.
Yeah, that's true. You have to sign up for at least $1, I think, to be a part of the Discord.
Yeah. If you are, just I can't find anything. Okay. I'll try linking you in as soon as we're done. It would take me a minute to do it.
Mark is our IT department at DeadPit, for those people that don't know.
Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry. Were you done, Matt, or are you still going?
No, I mean, I'll just finish it off with the Friday the 13th, 2009. I know you mentioned before it's a very divided movie. I'm obviously on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So yeah, the repeat. I like Darren Mears. I don't think the kills are that bad. I think the kills you get to see more than part 8, other than the decapitation punch. I think you get to see more than part 5. Like I said, the nudity, the violence was fine enough for me. Again, Jared Padalecki, never bothered by him. I liked him as an actor.
I've
never seen Supernatural.
Not to go back and forth, sorry. But
What's the point?
No, that's my thing though with the kills. You were mentioning like, yeah, you like the kills, which is totally fine. That's your personal likes and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, you get to see more, but they don't do anything. That's the thing. Like Friday the 13th was always known for having, well, especially as the series went on, like the kills were like insane. Like look at Jason Goes to Hell, the tent scene with the chick getting impaled and then sliced in half. If you have the chance to go all out and go crazy like that, why not do that in the remake when you have the chance? That's what I hate about it. It's like, it's the most basic thing. Stab somebody with a screwdriver. Like, I don't know. I think it's a waste of potential, but you know, it's just me.
Well, I mean, yeah, Terrifier for that. Terrifier 1 did that, and I didn't like the movie. I didn't see the sequels, to be fair. I just saw the first one. Like, Terrifier had a ton of gore, but I didn't like that film. But it had good gore, so I just, to me, gore is good. But I mean, there's other stuff I liked about it. I'm just repeating myself. I like the film. It is what it is. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay.
I'm just
I'm
bad.
sorry. Some of these comments, I can't even put them up there, but some of them are killer.
Yeah, I see some of them over there. Yeah. This one is one we were just talking about. It's part 3. So the 3D in this, as I mentioned earlier, works really, really well. It doesn't just come off as a cheap gimmick, even though other people might say that it is, but it still works. I think it lends itself to all the death scenes, except maybe the one you mentioned, UB with the eyeball. Even in like actual 3D, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of see the whole effect. But yeah, it's got that classic Friday the 13th summertime camp feel that I really, really enjoy. I like the look of Jason in it. Of course, he gets the hockey mask in this one. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. It's up there for me just because that was another one that I saw not 3D first, but I saw it much earlier on. Because I only owned a few of them on VHS, not all of them. I think it was this one, part 8, Jason Goes to Hell, and then part 1 and 2, I believe. So it's always stood out for me. I like the characters. You mentioned the comedy with what's the guy? Is it Larry Zerner, Shelley?
Yeah,
Shelley.
It also has the horrible Cheech. I'm sorry, the horrible Chong character in it.
Yeah,
and the chick that's a stoner with him. It's
yeah.
God damn! Like what? I mean, there's characters, and then there's just straight fucking ripoffs, man. Like that's just ridiculous. They got away with that.
Which they also kind of did in Freddy versus Jason with the Jason Mewes guy. So yeah, memorable characters, fun kills, and I like the ending. Although that chick is not that great, the lead, but I do like how she fights back in the end. I guess they're kind of a small biker gang. I like those characters as well. They're nothing there but to be cannon fodder, but still it's fun. So yeah, part 3 is my number 4 on the list.
This guy's killing me, man. I know he's trolling at this point, but it's killer because he just put some shit like this. You got to respect that. The biker gang, I forgot about that. The bikers make up for the Cheech and Chong ripoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I forever thought that was Felicia Rashad as that biker chick.
There is a striking resemblance, yeah.
I was like, for sure the girl from the Cosby Show was in that, but no, not her.
So I guess part 4 for me. I mean, number 4 for me would be part 2. Okay. I enjoyed part 2. Amy Steele.
Mm-hmm. Now, seriously though, because I've thought about this for a while, part 2, I think was my number 1. It was my number 1 or my number 2 whenever I ranked them last. What is it about that character that makes her, to me, like the best overall final girl?
Well, number 1, I think she's a better actress. Because even in other movies like April Fool's Day and other stuff, I think she's a good actress. She's a bit smart. She seems like a bit smarter. And like they don't do a whole lot, but she tries to do a little bit of psychological analysis. And I can't say the word, but she says that line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the word. I know what you're thinking about. Yeah, this is true too. Metalli Mark. She feels like the most real person of all the final girls. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
The rest of them just feel kind of like they're just there. Like they don't, have any character development or any kind of like sense that they are a real person. They're just kind of like there to run around and scream and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she feels like someone you might actually know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Sherman Helmsley could have played the main biker. That'd have been awesome, man.
And yeah, I do like the addition of Jason. I like Betsy Palmer, but I do like the Jason killer more. So the introduction of him was a great asset. And that's why, to go back, why I ranked the first one so low is because I think the second film did everything better compared with the first.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was better directed. I thought the characters were better. I thought the kills were good too. And I do have a fan made uncut version. People put the scenes back in. So it's like the spear stuff. And they even, I think when they released it, there was no audio on the deleted scene. I can't remember. But anyway, there's audio in the cut I saw. And
now most people bitch about the fact that it's kind of in certain scenes like a direct rip off of the Bava film.
I haven't seen it, so
it actually is because
it
I've
is.
seen it, and it's like it is. They directly ripped off several scenes, but then like who gives a fuck? Like there's so many films that have ripped off scenes from other films like that like. I mean, I still to this day think Halloween ripped off Black Christmas, and people disagree with that, but like it's just way too obvious. So
Carpenter said he never seen it though.
Yeah, he never saw it in his fucking life. My ass. Say whatever he wants.
Which do you like more, Black Christmas or Halloween?
Don't ask me that question because we will have a fucking riot on here.
We did already with my list. You can answer it.
Yeah.
You too, Mark.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Oh man.
I tell you this much. I'll just tell you this. Like, I fucking hate both to varying degrees. I think both of the lead actresses in those movies are super annoying. And I think Olivia Hussey is way more annoying actually than Jamie Lee Curtis. But if you go back and try to watch Black Christmas now, like I didn't really realize it until recently. I watched it a couple of times. And that's an awful character. She does nothing in that movie but whine, look perturbed, and just fucking get up that one guy's ass about having an abortion. And it's just like such a horrible character, man. Just you can't get behind her at all. Like there's
Margot Kidder was much better.
Yeah, Margot Kidder was insanely good in that movie compared to her. But like with Jamie Lee, it's kind of the same thing, but the annoying is only like at a 6 or a 7. To whereas Olivia Hussey's at like a 10. So it's like she gets annoying when she gets in the high pitched screaming, running around, dropping her keys mode and all that shit. But for the most part of the movie, like she's pretty likable, I guess. But dude, I think that Black Christmas was further ahead of its time than Halloween. I couldn't tell you which one of them I like better, honestly, like overall.
Okay.
But I think that that movie probably influenced more people than even people realize now. But then again, Peeping Tom influenced more people than it's just like this big line of shit that, that influenced one thing led to another. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to say for me, but I'd probably go with Halloween only because of the score and the shots, like cinematography wise, like it's photographed so well. Although I do really dig the camera work in Black Christmas a lot. And there's a lot of that same kind of steady cam type of thing in there. So, I mean, I'd have to go with Halloween.
I think I'll tell you this, Mark. I think that the characters in Black Christmas like feel more real than the friends in Halloween.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like they're more realistic the way that
Mhm.
they portray them anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a pretty close one. I mean, it's a good question. Whoever asked.
Yeah, it is a good question. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about before we went down that road?
Part 2,
Sorry.
and then you mentioned Mario Bava.
Right. Yeah.
You mentioned.
Oh yeah,
How do you feel about it, Bava, rip off of Bava or something?
Yeah, and that's just like something that people bring up every time you talk about part 2. So I was kind of getting ahead of the curve there, but like that's an actual thing that does exist. I'm not gonna it's Bay of Blood. That several of those scenes were clearly like almost frame for frame ripped off from that movie, but
Mhm.
ultimately, like I said, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that, so don't fucking matter to me. I still
Yeah.
like part 2. But yeah, good kills. I like Jason. Again, to me, it was like a more improved version of part 1, in my opinion.
Anything you don't like?
I mean, I prefer the hockey mask, but I don't dislike the tater sack look. I don't dislike it. I think it's now that you see them all, it's like I don't mind the look, and I think the way Steve Dash plays it definitely seems like he really wants to stab your ass. No, I mean, there's not a whole lot I dislike about it. No, I mean, like I said, I think it's a sequel that improves on the original,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. That's why I rarely go back to the original. I just rather go rewatch part 2.
Yeah, same. Even though it doesn't have Betsy Palmer, but still, she's only in it for like what, 10 minutes?
It does. She's at the end. You see her face. Remember when she puts on
Yeah,
the sweater?
that's
So you
true.
got Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, there's a bit of her in there.
I know what you mean. Though.
Yeah.
She's good in part 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're number 3.
Yeah. So top 3. This might surprise some people, but this is my number 3. Honestly, with these last 3, I could interchange them any given day of the week. Probably even some of the others on the list. It's a franchise that I still really like a lot. But man, Jason Goes to Hell, my number 3. This was almost number 2. Again, could have been number 1. This was the first one that I ever saw. I think that's the same for you, Rambo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was on, I think, either HBO or Cinemax or Skinemax, as they called it back then.
We're the hell kids. We went to hell and we came back and we started right here.
Yeah. So it's a film where I believe it's got the highest body count out of any of the movies. It's got the best effects. It's got some really cool characters like
God damn it. It's like
I see the comments. But I mean, for me, like I like all the action bits, especially like the last, I guess you could say even 45 minutes. I was going to say 30 minutes, but I mean, I like where it goes from the side of the road, like at the Voorhees house, to like the side of the road. Then you go to the police station, from the jail cell, breaking out, going into the whole shootout, the restaurant sequence, then back to the Voorhees house. It's like a one long action scene. And there's nothing but violence and carnage the whole way through. I think that the body jumping is something that I didn't really pay much attention to when I first saw it. It doesn't bother me as much either anymore. I think about it sometimes and I'm like, I don't know if I really like that. But overall, I have to look at whether or not I really enjoy the movie. And at the end of the day, I still like it. Like, it doesn't, like, I know you were talking about Roy. It's not really Jason. that's something I overlook with that movie, and it's the same for this. Like, yeah, it's not Jason in the look of the character. I get it, but still, it's fun.
It's
Com-
Jason. It's Jason's spirit, literally.
Mhm.
yeah,
It is a Friday the 13th hidden movie. Like it's
yeah.
the hidden combined with Friday the 13th,
hmm
which is a killer idea. People just lose their fucking mind when it's not like a straight, Jason movie. So I think that movie is much better than people give it credit for.
Were you a fan of it when you first saw it, or did it grow on you?
No, I wasn't a fan. I saw it in the theater. I was not a
Mhm.
fan of it at all, even then. And it was just way too different, for me to wrap
Yeah.
my brain around. And for a long time, really fucking hated it. Like
hmm
just the idea of it, like the body going from body to body shit, and all the lore behind that, and
hmm
a lot of. But then you watch it back, and you're like, there was really some campy, stupid stuff in it that they were like really trying to make fun, and it
I
kind of
mean,
works on that level.
it's like what I would say if a fan made a Friday the 13th movie, that's kind of what it would be. A fan that knows all about horror movies and the Friday the 13th lore and all that, and you got the chance to do your own thing. And I mean, he puts the Necronomicon in the movie. That's how Jason was supposed to come back. Um, the whole thing with the dagger, adding Voorhees family members. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that was actually cut out of the movie, even though it is like, it has the uncut version on here. There's a 2-hour version of the film that I don't know will ever see the light of day. I know they're working on that documentary on it, so maybe drudges up some more fan interest to put that out. I would hope if Hell Arrow's putting out Jason X and the Friday remake, they might as well find the 2-hour cut of this. So
Goes to Cracker Barrel.
What's the guy? Stephen Williams,
Yeah.
as Creighton Duke. Some really funny lines. I know that was originally.
He's an amazing character, man, in that movie. He just
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, I saw that Tony Todd was he auditioned for the role of Creighton Duke.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't know what Stephen Williams did, but he clearly impressed him enough to get the role. That's super chat. It's a fun movie for me. I still enjoy a lot of really memorable kills.
Justin Smith just fucking comments, just shitting all over.
That's endorsement enough for you to go see the movie if you haven't. Like, you're just putting it over with that comment, in my opinion. But yeah, it's very divisive. I know that.
It's okay if he turns the silly putty from Tots's waist and turns to a boy with hair. That's perfectly acceptable, though.
Yeah.
Tots's waist turns to a regular boy with a good chia pet hair after doing some silly putty face.
Oh, shit.
That's totally normal, though, folks. That's totally good.
Yeah, it's funny how some people will judge Jason Goes to Hell over the body jumping or this and that, but I'm like, it's still a dead guy in a hockey mask. Like, how are we judging what the character can and can't do? He's a fucking dead guy. Like, does it really matter at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's not like a grandma throwing people up. Freaking like, I'll just have fun.
A grandma? Are you talking about part one, you son of a bitch? Is that what you're trying to do?
He is.
Shit. I want to say this real quick.
Here's the thing about horror fans. They love to complain.
He's not wrong.
No. Well, listen.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
This question here, and this is an interesting question because I actually do remember this. What was the reaction like in the theater to the Freddy glove in Jason Goes to Hell? If I'm not mistaken, isn't there a beat before that happens? Because I remember like almost like getting up to leave, and then like that happened. And people were like getting up there. People were starting to leave, and they like turned around and saw. And then people would actually like cheer. like because that was a big deal at that time because it never
Yeah.
had even been like dreamed of that those two could like exist in the same kind of world. I don't think.
That was what I was going to get to. Like that final shot is all everybody talked about. I mean, even if like you didn't see the movie or maybe you didn't have interest, you probably wanted to see it just for that scene. You know, I mean, that's all everybody talked about. Like at school, like, oh, you know, the Freddy hand comes up and he's got the mask. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it
how
really
could you
did.
not mark out for that moment?
It really didn't matter anything else they did.
Yeah.
Because when you walked out of that theater as a kid, that's the only part you really remembered. Like you were like, so they could have had somebody farting on a snare drum for an hour and a half and then did that. And that you would have been like, oh, that was killer. Like,
Yeah.
that was just how that worked. So.
Yeah. Best final shot in any Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion. So that's all I got for Jason Goes to Hell.
So I guess my number 3 is one I like a lot more than these two guys. Jason Lives. I love Jason Lives. I loved it when I first saw it. But I think, like you said, you mentioned it's more like a monster movie, and I grew up with those kind of movies. So, of course, that would be more my cup of tea. I love Jason Lives is one of my favorites in the franchise. I like that it's well made. I like how the chances they took made it much more of an interesting picture, whether it be the James Bond type of opening where he's like slicing and the blood comes down. There's the titles. I like the sense of humor the film has. I like the fact you actually have kids at a camp. It was probably like the first and last time. It says there's always these camps, but no kids.
That might be the only one too where like it was implied that like little kids were in danger.
Yeah.
Like, smaller kids, because he kept, going like walking past and stuff, and you kind of felt like that tension that, is he going to kill like a little kid? Which at that time it wasn't like Terrifier 3 or anything. Like at that time, that was like a big fucking no. You don't ever do that in the movie.
Exactly. Go ahead.
That brings up an interesting question. How many times were they actually at a real camp? Because, I mean, like part 2, it's not really the camp from the first movie.
Right.
But I mean, they're counselors.
Right. But I mean,
that's what I mean. It's like there's always about camp counselors. Just there's never any kids.
Well, not in part 4. I mean, they're just like,
well, I mean, like the first two.
Well, yeah, those, but as the movies went on, except for part 6, some of them, like, they weren't really at camp. I guess I don't know. I just thought about that just now. Like, cause that's always the thing that like you sort of think about that was the setup for the original film. And like, they did kind of carry it over just a bit. But
are you saying, Mark, like where people are actually at the camp?
Or like, just the counselors or the people that we follow as characters in the movie being at an actual camp? Because you look at some of the other ones, like part 8, they're high school kids. Part 7, they're just partying at a house. Part 6
mostly,
and then 5, it's like I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
That's like a whole. Nobody really knows.
Like a halfway house.
There's like a kid that just stutters, and like he's in there. So what the fuck is that really? Like I didn't know they put people that just stuttered into like psychiatric facilities, but yeah, apparently.
I think it's just that the whole franchise is known for Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah. So the fact it's always known for a camp, we finally have kids at the camp. It was just interesting to see that be part of it.
Yeah. It's better than like, a weird kind of almost halfway house for apparently like sluts, kids that stutter, and alternative chicks from the 80s to go to. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, that's like the house in part 4. Like, what the hell is that? Like, it's like a house that nobody ever really goes to next to a house where a family lives in the middle of nowhere. It's like this perfect, convenient setup for Jason to come kill people. Go ahead, though.
No, that's fine. Like I said, the Part 6, I liked. I don't mind the look of Jason. That didn't bother me. I didn't mind the actor who played him. I liked that it was a zombie Jason. I thought that was a cool addition because it made the kills more interesting. I think they really went for those kills where he's either punching people's hearts out, bending them like a wishbone, pushing their head right into the wall of the vehicle, and you see the imprint. So I like those kills. Again, I like the sense of humor. I don't mind the comedy aspect. That didn't bother me. I did laugh quite a few times. Wherever the red dot goes, you bang. I like Tom Matthews. I don't mind the lady. I like how, she may be slutty, but I'm down for that. The bike guy woman. I love the song at the end, Alice Cooper. It's my favorite Alice Cooper song. It's one of my favorite songs from a horror movie. The Man Behind the Mask. Like I said, I like the monster movie feel of it because, again, I grew up with those kind of films. So yeah, I like Jason Lives. I always liked it. I still like it. I still think it's a lot of fun. Jason kicks a lot of ass. I like the characters. Again, there's stuff that still makes me laugh. What were you going to be when you grew up? When the one kid says to the other.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, the opening is good. The finale, I thought that was a little bit unique, a little bit different, where the whole drowning him in the lake, so it made it like kind of a part of like mythological beast of Jason, which I didn't mind that. Yeah, I think Jason Lives is a fun one. So I liked. I know you guys' your opinions changed on it. For me, it stayed the same. I still love it to this day. So that's my number 3.
Yeah,
So-
I mean it. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
It's just like I said. I wore it out, man. Like I watched it too damn much. Mostly when I was younger. I think it was that DVD set. What was it? From Crystal Lake to Manhattan. You guys remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that DVD probably doesn't even work anymore. That's how much I used to watch Part 6. But yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Here, go ahead.
before we get to number 2, there is a shit ton of people in here right now. So take a minute and like this video if you want to see us do more content like this and you want to continue to support Friday Night Lives. You can comment, which also helps us out. Put down like what your favorites are, like in order if you want to, or just what your favorite Friday the 13th movie is. That helps us out as well. Like in any of the streams, because this is a multi-stream tonight. So yeah, take time to do that, or I'll fucking kill you. I don't care. I'm crazy like that. I'll figure out where you live and murder every damn one of you. Anyway, continue on.
Okay, so my number 2. This was almost number 1, but I got to put Part 5 up there pretty high.
Thank God. Thank fucking God.
Put my own fucking no. My own fucking name.
Now, believe it or not, I was not always as big on this one. I never hated it, and I never gave a shit about the Roy thing. I could give a fuck about that. It was always just one that I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll get back around to it. But over the last, say, 15 years or more even, I love this one. I probably go back to this one the most out of the top 5. Shit, man. I mean, those characters are nothing but memorable to me. The dialogue with all the characters is, I find myself laughing a lot more, maybe because the humor is so much darker, and I don't even know if it's intentionally supposed to be funny, but it just is. And the humor in 6 ain't got nothing like on this. Like this is my style of humor. I like dark,
Yeah, it's
fucked up humor.
I'm assuming some of it was supposed to be funny. Like the
Some of it,
Ethel
but
stuff was clearly supposed to be funny, right? Like,
yeah,
but it's so inappropriate. Like
yeah,
pretty much the whole movie is inappropriate, which is
hmm
like makes it even funnier some of the shit that they do in the movie.
yeah,
And I'm not positive if like stuff like the Demon and her singing to each other was supposed to be funny, but it
exactly.
comes off that way. Like
Yeah,
there's just so many scenes like that that are like memorable. And the scene where he gets his ass kicked, where Junior gets
hmm
his ass kicked by Tommy, and then he's driving around the cabin. He hurt me, Mama. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny, but it's
I don't think so,
hilarious.
but it is. Yeah,
And then he
exactly.
gets his head chopped off. Like it's
Thank God he did.
yeah, that just everything about it,
That
man.
annoying fuck.
It's fucking killer.
Junior. Fuck Junior, too. That annoying fucking piece of shit. Glad he got his head cut off. Should have shoved up his ass.
That actually would have been cool if they did that.
That would have been a good scene.
Fuck Junior.
Listen, Junior's amazing. He fucking likes stew and fighting. That's all we need.
Crybaby fat fuck.
That's his character, though. That's what makes it
It's
killer.
annoying as fuck. Hey, that's cool. He's throwing.
Ah, shit. You tell him, Mom, would you shut the fuck up?
She's good. I don't think he is.
He's just kind of like the weird straight man to her, I think. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of just there to be like, some sort of straight man to her, but it's great.
hmm
Yeah.
No, Charles. Fuck Reggie and his onesie.
That's my Reggie the Reckless. Such a cute.
Mark, you
Oh,
said
man.
the same thing when we did the tier list. You said you thought he sucked too. When
I'm
we
not
did
a
the
big.
tier list.
I won't lie. Like I'm not that big into Reggie the Reckless.
Okay, at least
But
he gave me that. That's good. At least.
but the other characters, I'm a big
Rick
fan of.
James. You're gonna get it now, bitch. Rick James.
Yeah, it's.
Ah!
I can't
Lord.
help but laugh at like every line, if not every other line. I mean,
Man, yeah.
the whole thing with Vic and all that stuff. I love it.
I think you're
I can't
way
help
out of
it.
line. Boy, he gets the look on his face in that camera shot.
Oh
where
yeah,
it's like- yeah, man.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely got the exploitation feel too. We know it's Steinman, so God, man, if they put out an uncut version of this, I'd lose my mind. Like if we could see all the nudity and all that stuff and
But that's
all
the
the
thing.
extra shit.
It's
Go
an
ahead.
exploitation feel, but all the guts are cut out of the exploitation.
And the nudity, yeah. I'd heard that sex scene was like way longer, the one with Debbie Sue Voorhees, but it's like 20 seconds. or
well, part
something.
5 still has the best, in my opinion, the best nude scene of any of the movies.
Mhm.
And I think we all know what that scene is.
And whoever in here said Debbie Sue Voorhees is overrated, you're crazy.
I mean, overrated how? Like,
I think he said, whoever it was, said she just has big
It
tits.
wasn't me. I swear that I didn't say it.
I mean, yes, that is the point of that character. I'm pretty sure. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
she
see
only
anything
says
wrong with
maybe 2 lines in the whole fucking thing. So
it. That's
that
all
was-
she needs to do.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
point of the character. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe one day we get it restored. Until then, it's still classic in my opinion, and easily one of my absolute favorites of the franchise.
One line for each titty, Jackson.
The remake's still tittylicious. So I guess my number 2. I'll put a caveat on this. The uncut version of this, which I have, and I watch only the uncut version of this, which is part 7, The New Blood, is my second favorite. Now, yes, the uncut looks like a VHS, but I think that works fine with Friday the 13th because, as you say, it's supposed to look shitty.
Mm.
So But yeah, Part 7 of the New Blood is my second favorite. You mentioned there's some people that like the gimmick of the telepath, some who don't. I'm one of those that do.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that gimmick. I do like that it creates an action feel in the third act where it's hero versus villain. I like the telekinetic stuff, whether it be the nails going to the mask and the body or using the chandelier light to hit him. And because he's a stuntman, there's these good stunts that Kane Hodder can take. I love the look of Jason. I like Laura Lincoln. I would honestly say she's probably my third favorite lead after.
You can virtually meet her and ask her some questions for $80 if you want to, man.
I'll pass on that.
Are you sure? All right.
$80?
$80. It's her and Kevin Spiritus. You can like virtually.
How many
meet
questions?
I don't know. I think it said 5 to 7 minutes. So you got to really like cram that shit in there.
Jesus.
Wouldn't that be so fucking awkward to just get on like a virtual call with somebody? But you only got like 5 minutes. You got to be like, fuck, in Part 7, let me ask you this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, what was it like working with that guy that didn't give a shit about you? Trying to act like y'all were fucking digging each other. Like, what would you ask her, really? Did you prep by watching Carrie? We actually did do an interview with Laura Lincoln many years ago, so go check that out on the Patreon site and figure out what we did ask her because I can't remember.
Well, no, I sure as hell would not do that. But so like I said, I it's my favorite look of Jason. Ken is my favorite performer of Jason. I like the way he did where he looked and then he would go in the direction he's going in. I like that he took that stance. I don't know why they didn't just keep the look for him later on. I think it was the perfect look for Jason, in my opinion. Like I said, Laura Lincoln. I like the character Bad News Cruz because I like that actor because I grew up with Weekend of Birdies. So it was cool to see him in another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there are some slow spots because some of the lesser characters aren't much to run home about. I could agree with that. And it was very cut up. But again, because I watched the uncut version, that kind of fits for me. And the kills are pretty cool. Whether it be what I think they call the coochie face, where you put the axe up and you see it. And
does the uncut version that you have audio on all the death scenes? Because I've seen
this one does.
Okay.
Because the guy did a fan cut where he like put the music back in and you have the sound effects for each one and he put the score. So he made the whole film look like a VHS so it doesn't go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like watching a lost VHS tape of uncut version. And there's even like old trailers. So like Bloodsport and stuff. Because they came out the same year.
For some reason, though, I mean, Part 7 was my favorite when I was a kid, and I think that's just because of the year that it came out. Like, it was one of the first ones that I watched, like, over and over again, like, on VHS, like, just because of that time period, too. So, yeah, I mean, it has a lot of nostalgia for me, and I still think that it's probably the best look of Jason, too. Like, John Carl Buechler, if he'd have got to do what he wanted to do with that movie, I think that we would all probably have that movie as like number one.
Jerry L. It was online. I think the guy is it's long gone. But if there's a way you could contact me, Jerry L., I could send you a link. I could upload it myself on a site. But yeah, on a Google Drive too. I could do that, but I don't know how you contact me, Jerry L. I don't know if you're on Patreon and Discord. If you are, feel free to send me a message on Discord. But anyway, so let me ask you: if, say, they announced this is impossible, of course, because it's long gone, but Fantasyland, uncut version, HD, you think your opinion would be the same as you feel now in Part 7? You think it'd be different?
Well, I think it'd be different. It'd definitely move up if they could do like all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very interested to see everything that was cut out. The stuff that I did see, I don't know if that was everything, but I mean, it would always pique my interest. I mean, for any of them that like the MPAA hacked to pieces.
Yeah.
I'd love to see any of them, even the ones that I don't like as much. Wouldn't matter. I'd still want to see it.
Well, I mean, you want to see it, but do you think if
Would
you
it-
saw it,
I like
would
it
it go
more.
up? Yeah.
I think that part 7 would probably be the one that would be most affected by it, just because like Beekler was an FX guy. Like I'd say
Yeah.
that the shit that he did like was probably pretty amazing as compared to like some of the others where it probably wasn't even going to be that great anyway. Like part 5,
Mhm.
like I doubt that the special effects that if they got cut out were going to be that amazing. But I think
Mhm.
part 7 would have been.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it might go up a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, to be able to see this, again, it's rough quality, but again, it's VHS. It's Friday 13th. It's not Blade Runner. It's not meant to be, so I'm fine with it looking like this. Sometimes I actually prefer that with older movies. I don't know why. Like, looking rough. I know this sounds dumb, but so seeing the uncut kills with all the tracking, so basically, like I stole a VHS tape from someone who watched it too much. And like I said, the look of Jason, Lar Lincoln, the action finale, the telekinesis stuff. Yeah, it's my second favorite for that, and even my favorite poster because I always love the look of this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
my second favorite.
Is that Cade Hensley in the chat has an interesting question. Part 7 in the fall, right?
Is
I mean,
7 the only one to feel like it's set in late fall, early winter? It doesn't feel like a summer Friday the 13th. It does feel like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Mm.
feel like a summer kind of vibe in that movie for some reason.
Yeah, even though they're all dressed like it potentially could be summer, sometimes you do see people with like these coats on and stuff. And then like from what I remember, like it's all there's nothing on the trees, right? Like it's all just like there's no leaves or anything.
Yeah, it's
on
very
the ground.
gray, the whole thing is very dull. Just
Yeah.
nothing in that way. Thought this comment was killer for some reason. I don't know. It has to do with anything, but like it says because they did shoot part 7 in the winter. Yeah. There we go.
So I guess your part 1. I mean your favorite
Number 1. Yeah, my number 1. Well, it's obviously the only one left. So part 4 is my absolute number 1. Again, these last 3 right here, part 5, Jason Goes to Hell. I mean, they could all rotate any given day. Like part 4 has just got so much of what I want. I don't care about the Corey Feldman thing, but to each his own. I can understand where you're coming from in a way, but like the whole thing with Savini being back, the effects. I love the final effect sequence with Jason sliding down the blade, which you talked about earlier. I like the characters, the setting. Even the guy who's looking for, I think it's his sister, right?
Rob.
Yeah. Rob, I think was his name.
Yeah, so I like that whole angle. That was something a bit different, at least for early on in the franchise. You didn't see anything like that until that point. I mean, it's kind of like the whole stepfather thing where like the guy's like on the hunt the whole movie and then just dies at the end, doesn't accomplish a damn thing, even though you're like following him. But it's just nothing but fun. You got memorable characters like Crispin Glover's character, the twins, of course, which 4 could have used a bit more nudity, I will say. That one wasn't really memorable.
4 also, though, isn't it 4 that has Aronson in it? What's her name? Judy
Aronson, yeah.
Judy Aronson. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, she's got to be one of the hottest of that whole series too, and that scene is pretty amazing, dude. Here's a weird part about her too. Like, have you seen her recently? She essentially looks the same. Like that movie has been 40 years ago at this point, and
I
she
saw her on something on the internet. Yeah.
She takes pictures now at cons in that raft, and she basically looks. I was like, "What the fuck? Like that doesn't make any sense." Like
She's like kind
it's
of like
that,
Jill Whitlow, kind of.
yeah, it's that crazy. It's like they just don't age or something. Like
Mm.
But yeah, Ted White, obviously badass. Jason portrayal. I do like Kane Hodder a bit more, but he did a pretty good job. It would have been interesting to see him do it again. But yeah, it's Four's got a lot of stuff, man, going for it that I think I wish some of the other sequels would have had, especially in terms of like the veracity of some of the kills.
yeah,
There's certain shots in between takes, like when they find Jason's body in the barn or whatever. Like I love, and it's really quick, and people probably don't even think about it, but it's like a bit of a 15 or 20-second sequence, like where it's just everybody leaves and the camera's just there, and it's this lingering shot where there's no light. The helicopter flies away, the ambulance takes Jason or whatever, and like just that kind of feel that Zito put on the movie. I really enjoy that quite a bit.
it's a very like people always talk about the kills in part 2, especially the wheelchair, which those are all really mean. But the one that always got me was the guy dying at the coroner dying at the beginning, where he takes the hacksaw or whatever, and
Yeah.
then like does that and then twists his head around. I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's pretty.
That's all. I mean, that's Savini at work. That's why I said like Savini being back really brought a lot to it. Hell, even the meat cleaver to the face of Crispin Glover is always really memorable. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
There's so many cool kills and even stunts in it. Like it's just really fun. So trying to think of any negative points about it that I dislike. Can't really think of anything, honestly, other than maybe a bit more nudity would have been cool. But I mean, everything else, it's got the kills, it's got the drug use, it's got some pretty interesting characters. I like the look of Jason as well, the dirty fingernails and all that shit. Yeah, it just works for me.
Yeah, I agree.
You go ahead, Matt.
I
know
agree
what
too.
number one is.
So yeah, my big surprise. My number one is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And yeah, it was the first one I saw. So yes, nostalgia does play into it. But what I love about the film, number one, I think you could argue it's definitely the goriest of the franchise, especially the uncut version. I like John D. LeMay. I think he was a very likable character for me. He was a relatable character for me. I like that the lead character, other than just surviving, they had a bit more story to them where, okay, it's not just survive, but I gotta rescue my baby, I gotta protect my baby. So I like that there was kind of like a Terminator vibe in a way. Like instead of protecting Sarah Connor and kid not born yet, it's protecting this lady and the kid. So I like that Terminator aspect to it. I like the action feel of it. I think for a first-time director, he did some slick-looking shots, whether it be certain bits of editing, when they're in the restaurant and the camera zooms in when this specific thing blows up. I think he did some nice camera tricks. I like Stephen Williams. He's a very interesting character. It's like a hot dog through a donut, all that stuff.
A little girl in a pink dress.
So I really like the lead. I really like Stephen Williams. I like the gore a lot. It's a very slick-looking movie. I think that like I said, the body hopping stuff didn't bother me because I'm like, I just saw a really crappy Hidden too, so I felt like it a good sequel to the Hidden. It just happens to have Jason in it. And yeah, I just think this film is just a lot of fun. I like some of the speaking of which, Sunday you got the body melt stuff. This had a little bit of body melting when Jason escapes. Well, the thing escapes and the guy's body's melted to the ground. I thought that was unique for a Friday film. Yeah, I mean, from the very beginning, where you think it'll be the typical someone going to get naked, they're going to get killed, and then Jason gets blown up, and from the get-go, I'm like, okay, this is a different take on it from all the stuff I heard of Jason, and now I'm intrigued. We'll see where this goes, and I like the guy as a coroner. This is the dude from Rocky 5.
Only in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying, I mean, it's weird because there's a lot of things to really like about this movie. It's just not like a typical Friday the 13th movie, like you were saying.
Right.
It actually plays with that whole thing in the beginning, which is, and that scene always stood out to me because it was really well done, where like you think she's going to get killed and he's just following her, but he's actually the one that's being trapped, and that I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah, and I like some of the humor in it, like the coroner, like he's doing his recording, he's going on prognosis. This guy's deader than shit. And then like the other guy who's the writer of the film, and he's like, "Fuck you, eat this. I want to take a crap on your mask." And I like even those characters. I like the girl who's the owner of the restaurant, just how bitchy she is, and it's like, "Don't go hurt that fucking ray of sunshine." She's like pulling guns out and stuff. I like the variety of the kills, whether it be the guy getting his arm broken. What
was that guy's name? Pookie.
Yeah. The elbow and the mouth goes in.
Yeah.
Of course, the tent scene is that whole ripping in half is easily what I would pit the goriest death Jason's done. I mean, I know there's some that are close, but for my money, I think that's the goriest.
I think that is. Yeah, that one always stood out to me as well.
And I said, even if I rewatch it, I like how unique it is, because while there's some fun entries, there are times where they kind of become almost to the realm of repetitive. They can still be fun, but I feel a bit of repetitiveness. And with this, I don't feel that at all. So I like the action-driven feel of it. So I never thought Jason Goes to Hell was that bad. And I'll say this here. No one has given me, other than the shaving bit. The shaving bit's stupid. Should just edit that shit out. I agree with that. Other than that, no one has given me a good reason as to why this film's so bad. I have yet to hear a good reason. Jason's not in it. Well, he's not in the first fucking movie. Except this little fucking kid who jumps out, and then the guy takes credit to make $80 per fucking show. Just he jumped out fucking late for 30 seconds.
Well, he said he put that shaving scene in to make people uncomfortable because it
was a stupid thing. I love the film. It was a stupid fucking scene that no one likes. So it should just been taken out. Okay, Jerry L, name all of them.
I always really liked the scene too where Creighton Duke's like breaking his fingers, like when he's trying to get information and stuff. Like, he wants you to tell him stuff, he's like, "I will, but I gotta break your fingers." Like, just comes out. That shit just comes out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
And I love that because it's like, okay, some of these movies, you gotta have exposition. How do we make it not boring? Breaking fingers. That makes at least a unique way of, okay, do an exposition scene, but don't make it boring as hell. Okay, it shows the toughness of John D. LeMay's character, where he's hesitant, but then when he's ready to do it because he wants to save his baby, that gives the Creighton Duke respect for the guy. So at least there's a bit of character work there. Yeah, I mean,
Acres of Movies brings up a good point though. Is it illegal to ask someone to break their own digits? Technically, you're not doing it. Well, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah, always loved it.
Creighton Duke. Great Duke was a self-taught Voorhees family historian who was also a psychotic for no reason. Yeah, that's what makes it killer,
Yeah.
actually.
But I mean, again, if people don't like it, that's fine. But I would sincerely ask, what is so bad about the movie? Like, because it's different. I mean, is that bad to be different? Like, what is it that's so sincerely bad about it, other than that shaving bit? I just mean
mean-
that conversation piece.
What I always see is everybody complains about the body jumping. That's the main thing people seem to dislike because it's not Jason. I mean, just like, you said about part 5. That was a dislike for you for part 5. You say fuck Roy, so it's the same thing for some people with this one.
Because it's not Jason. Jason's at least in the movie, beginning and end of the movie.
I mean, technically, Jason is in part 5 because you see him in the mirror. He's there, right?
That's pushing it. He's not physically there.
He is in that guy's mind.
Yeah.
He is in the audience's mind too.
In
Yeah.
their hearts, yeah.
But Jerry L's crafting like a 12-page response right now. I can feel it as to why the movie is not good.
But then,
He doesn't like the slug monster.
There we go.
well, I don't like the silly putty and fucking part 8. I mean, this is a guy that someone survived, and then
What a fucking question. That's killer.
But yeah, I mean, think about it. We never found out who his dad was. So who knows what his dad had done. So that's why it wasn't as much of a leap. I mean, look at Halloween 6 and what they do with that. But that seems to get some love.
It does have Leslie Jordan in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, Jerry L, you could argue most Friday the 13th films are silly to an extent. It's about a guy that never dies, even though he gets an axe to the head and drowned and lived for what, 50? Like part 2, I love, but how the fuck did he find where Adrian Teen lives? Stole her phone number.
I always thought that whole part was absolutely fucking unnecessary. Like, if you left that whole part out of part 2, nobody would give a shit. Like, it has no bearing on anything. Like, she just had to die or whatever for whatever reason. Like, and then, like you said, like, how the hell is he going to find her? Like, he's some Mongol living out in the fucking woods. Like, it's not like he's got GPS.
So there you go. There you go, Mark.
The spirit of his mother told him where to go.
You're asking me, Mark, what something I don't like about part 2. That's one.
That's his GPS. You're right, Mark. The spirit of his mother.
How did he get there?
Turn right on Main Street.
Exactly.
Does he fucking drive? How did he get there?
Yeah,
he walks.
I've seen worse fucking drivers around here. Let me tell you.
That explains like how much older he is. It took him that long to walk from Camp Kissel Lake to the city where she lives.
Yeah. So there, I guess there you have it. Like that's everybody's top list. What a completely different list. I couldn't ask for 2 more just completely different lists, which is great. I don't want these lists to be the same. That would be really boring. But the fact that like Rambo laid the gauntlet down for fucking he definitely set the par for the course of Friday the 13th film list. I will say that, like, with these choices. So,
and again, I like most of them except part 8. I like pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I mean, as I think about like all the different Friday the 13th movies, there's really only maybe like one that I would never watch again, and that would be Jason X, just because I just don't give a shit about it at all. But I mean, the rest of them I could see myself going back and watching for sure.
Even Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, I mean, Freddy vs. Jason is one of those fucking catfish movies for me. Like, you go back to it and you're thinking, like, it reels you in and you're just kind of like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this will be good. And then you watch it again, you're like, it's not good. I keep getting fucking brought back into this.
Jerry L, if you want to talk about Polar Red, you just say that for part 8 as well.
Look, buddy. Keep talking about part 8.
Is part 8 greatly written, Mark? Is that a great script?
I mean, I don't think any of them are greatly written. So that's a bit of a stretch anyway, just to say that about
the lake that they're on, but somehow get to an ocean.
Part 5 is greatly written. I'll say that for certain.
I won't disagree with that. I do like part 5 a lot.
How you doing, Ethel? You're looking good today. Oh, horse shit. I'll quote that movie all through this fucking thing. But thanks to everybody, though, Mark, Rambo, for coming up with these lists, running down these lists, pissing everybody off, causing a riot in the chat. Yeah, but no, man. I mean, it's good on Friday the 13th. We go through all these and get the rank. I think everybody has ranked these movies that is in this kind of, circle of these streams now. We've got mine, CK's, Garrett's, and your all's now. So yeah, if you want to see any of those videos, you got this one now. You can go back and see the other 3 on the YouTube channel. Check out like what we all thought. But I guess that'll be the end of this. So that being said, Matt, what do you got coming up? Like, what's up?
Well, before going, do you want to mention a Sunday? You have
yeah, I guess I could. Yeah. Exploit Nation is coming back on Sunday at 10, and we're going to do body horror, body kind of melt style movies, whatever you want to call it. Cronenberg, street trash, that kind of like genre of films. Are you guys coming to that, by the way? Have you decided?
Yeah,
I would.
I'll be there. The thing is like there's no set list of like what
no. There's no set list this time. Like I'm not doing the actual it's just like whatever of those style of movies that you want to bring to the table to talk about. Like you can pick like a couple of them and we'll just go over them. Mm-hmm. If we double up, then we double up. I mean, there's a ton of those movies. Like I can think of on my feet, think of another one if somebody has the same one or something. Mm-hmm. But just to tell you, it looks like we'll have 4 people because I got a message from somebody from the Discord that wants to be on there too. So we'll have a pretty good crowd of people in there if you want to watch that show. And I'm looking forward to bringing that back. I've already got I already know like every show that I'm going to do for this run. So
cool. Nice.
Hang in there. But yeah, go ahead, man.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
No problem. And well, just on my channel, long story short, doing much more requests thanks to people out there. Just to name a few. There is The Dragon Lives Again, which is the craziest Bruce Exploitation film you'd ever see. Just not only does it have Bruce Lee, but it has Popeye, Dracula, Emmanuel, and the man with no name, who they call Clint Eastwood, and a bunch of other stuff, which was on the Game of Clones Severance set. Definitely a fun film for those who like those insane type of movies. Be playing more of Manhunt 2, the uncut, uncensored version. Which, I mean, if you want to talk about gory kills, that's definitely one to look at for folks out there. And a lot of films from lame shark films like The Black Demon to pornos like Bid Business.
Like
Good old women.
Shark films to pornos. That's killing.
And much more. Interesting ones that were decent, like Little Darlings, to awful horror anthologies like Deathcember. Did you hear about Death?
Yeah, I heard about that. Like, wasn't it some sort of gimmick like Advent calendar or something, and every day is like a different story or something like that?
It's 2.5 hours long. It was.
Man, like, why do they do shit like that nowadays? Like, nobody wants to sit through that kind of stuff.
Just as an anthology with 24 stories.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no.
Although Tiffany Shepard was in one story, which was
I know. I heard that she was in it. That almost made me watch it, but I didn't. Like I just didn't.
It's pretty bad in my opinion. But yeah, that and much more. So I know you guys you have the what you've been watching as well coming up, right?
Oh yeah, the DeadPit is watching show is coming up. Can you see when that's dropping, Matt? Because I can't figure it. I think it's tomorrow. But would
Yes,
technically be what, today now?
I will check real quick. I believe, yes, it is tomorrow, the 14th at 9 p.m. Central. You guys are like, okay, Tatsu Crusaders. I'm curious who watched the cartoon.
I did. Yeah.
So we'll wait.
I didn't realize until I saw that it actually was only one season. They only ever did one season of that show, like 13 episodes. That was it. Because it seems like when I was a kid, I remember that being actually like a big thing, and it might have been for a brief period of time, but it didn't last. Like we talk about all that shit though when we review it, like and the action figures and all the stuff that came out with it.
So yeah, that's you got their video will pop up on the channel tomorrow here at 9 p.m. Central.
Yeah, I'm also doing The Hunted too. I know you like that movie, so that's one that's in that show as well.
Looking forward to your thoughts on it. Yeah, that's a freaking film I saw in the theater and enjoyed ever since. Because it's like if you took the novel First Blood and made that into a movie, because it was much darker than the movie.
It's a very, very atmospheric, dark. Tommy Lee Jones does a great job in that movie. Benicio, they both do actually. But yeah.
And Mark, do you have anything coming up?
I thought about doing a video on this at some point. Probably should do it as soon as I can. I just got this in the mail today. It's the Demolition Man 4K.
Oh yeah. Did you order that, man?
Not yet. I just had to take care of other stuff first. I will soon. I want to.
Yeah, I hear that the 4K is pretty stellar and that it trumps the Blu-ray transfer in pretty much every regard, mostly because the color correction is a lot more accurate, as well as the what's it called, like just the textures of like clothing and different things that you notice on screen. But yeah, this is a bit of a thick release. Like it's not very it's not your standard one. So I do want to pop this open and see what's all's in here. And this is one of my favorite Stallone movies easily, and Wesley Snipes movies. So that should be a really fun watch. I think I got that. Yeah, I did. Still trying to figure out how to use the 3C sheets. But yeah, so that's just one of the many really cool Arrow titles that are pre-ordered for me. I think this one's out right now. I saw on Amazon it's still not available yet. Like it's
no, the 17th.
Yeah, so maybe I should try to do a video, being that I got it a bit earlier.
Yeah, I would actually really like to get that, but I don't know when the fuck I'm ever gonna have the money right now. Christmas is just whipping my ass.
Yeah, I mean, it was one that I thought you would have pre-ordered. Didn't you get a bunch of Arrow stuff?
I saw that stuff and I was like, oh, this all looks killer, but then I only ended up buying the sale. That was the only thing I pre-ordered.
And the gift, right?
I didn't pre-order the gift.
Okay.
I wanted to, and I was getting ready to, and then just for whatever reason didn't pull the trigger on it. I need to get that. I need to get a Simple Plan. I need to get that Demolition Man set. Like I'm way behind on Arrow shit.
Yeah, I almost forgot the Simple Plan. I put it over there on the shelf with the rest of the Arrow stuff. I haven't even watched it yet, but I was waiting a bit for more of the snow to fall and more of the season change.
Yeah,
so I'll get to it.
I'm laughing because I remember the other night you and Wes kind of not arguing about where Arrow should be.
Oh yeah,
like, it should be S. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Ain't his name like Demolition Man? All this other stuff.
Yeah, I named like everything that they put out, and it's like insane.
He just wasn't impressed, though. I noticed.
No, the funniest part about that stream to me was Brad coming in there from Terror Mission Fucking after
Okay,
I
so
just
that
got
was
done.
him. It wasn't someone pretending to be him. That
No,
was the
that's
actual-
really him. Yeah. Like every now and then he pops into our streams, but like I can't help it, man. Like, why come into a stream like that if you don't want to know the truth, like about what we think?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, we ended up putting TerraVision in the meh category, and
If they send their shit out, we still
Yeah,
haven't
I
been sent
mean-
on Rumpelstiltskin.
I mean,
It's like
dude,
halfway December.
if you look at like what they release, they're not really. It's not in the same orbit as like your Criterion or your Severin or your fucking Arrow or stuff like. It's just not. And so I don't know how he wanted us to rank that shit, but I mean, yeah. Plus, it's
Why was he mad or something?
Well, he didn't necessarily seem mad, but there was like one part where he called us babes. He said something like,
I did see that. Yeah.
you have to kind of know that guy too. He's kind of just like a dry, kind of smart assy kind of character. Like,
Oh,
but he said something like, it takes a lot. There's only two of us. It takes a long time for stuff to get done, babes, or something like that. And I was like,
Mhm.
dude, there's only two people in Synapse. There's only two people in Air. Like, I mean, that
Mhm.
people do that and they do it, all the time like that. So
Mhm.
babe, maybe wants to fuck you or something. I don't know. I'm calling people
I-
babes.
I just found the whole thing to be weird. But that guy is notorious for picking fights with people on the internet. I ain't fighting with you. It is what it is.
People still shitting on Jason Takes Manhattan.
What the fuck?
I don't know why. Like, but whatever. I ain't
It
gonna
wasn't
try to
me.
defend it anymore.
It wasn't me.
Actually, I heard that one of the original plans for the script before it was Manhattan, it was going to be like L.A. And he was going to be. It was almost Jason Takes
What?
the
Jason Takes L.A.?
No, the hood, like
Ain't
South
no way,
Central.
Mark.
No, I'm serious. I swear.
Find game members. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
it was
fighting
for
game
part
members.
9.
No, that
Oh,
was. I'm
God.
pretty sure. Was that part 8 or part 9?
Jason.
I remember
can't
on the
remember.
commentary, Dean Laurie mentioned there was a thought
Maybe it was part 9 then. Okay.
Jason find game members.
Yeah,
Why did everything eventually go to the hood and into space?
that's where you got to
Like-
go.
There's no other ideas besides that. Everything had to go to one of those two spots. Like,
You got to go. You just makes your franchise official at that point.
so anyway, next.
Well, Brad wants to pit fight stuff, but send the shit out. You pit fight with me.
I don't know if he necessarily wanted to pick
I
a
don't know.
fight. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's an interesting individual. I'll just say that. But especially for somebody running a company. But like, I would say they have some great vinyl stuff, but vinyl ain't my fucking thing. That's the thing. We weren't rating shit on vinyls. That being said, I hope everybody comes back next Friday. I'm sure we'll have something planned by then, and Sunday first, because Sunday is the Big Exploit Nation return show, and that's going to be a hell of a show. And I'm hoping that quite a few people show up to that, because that's something that we've never really talked about in any detail, or those style of movies. So it should be interesting to see what people bring to the table there too. Check out Rambo's channel. Check out Mark's channel, Stuntman Mark. If you haven't checked those out, and like this fucking video, I swear to God, like it, comment on it, do something, because it only helps us. And as always, just remember this one thing: everybody dies, but Friday night lives. You bitches. Also want you to remember that this one thing too. See y'all.
I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
Do you hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to breathe greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit. TeePublic.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some DeadPit radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. You know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Here's what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many